Minneapolis. Outrage after a second U.S. citizen was killed by federal agents. This time, a Veterans Hospital ICU nurse named Alex Pretty. Homeland Security claims he was holding a gun. Bystander footage shows he had his cell phone in his hand. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara tells CBS's Face the Nation.
I have seen different experts and people analyzing the video that have made statements about that. I cannot speculate, but I don't have any evidence that I've seen that suggests that the weapon was brandished.
A new survey of businesses finds many are cautiously optimistic about what's to come in the months ahead. NABE analyst Lester Jones.
There's been a lot of pessimism about where the economy is headed, yet the economy seems to give us little surprises here and there as firms seem to work around tariffs and figure out ways to do business.
It'll be deja vu at the Super Bowl. Cairo TV's Jack Bilyeu from Seattle.
The Hawks are up for a rematch that's bringing many fans back to 2015. Seahawks versus Patriots.
See you in San Fran, baby!
There are a lot of fried vocal cords in Seattle, but louder than the fireworks were the screams.
Seahawks beat the Rams 31-27 to take the NFC title. Patriots topped the Broncos 10-7 in the AFC. This is CBS.
Follow and listen to CBS News Roundup on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
It is 6:03 and it is very cold out there this morning. If you don't have to get out of bed, stay under the covers. We got you. It's 5 below, feels like 12 below right now. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's begin with KMOX AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
The snow has long since stopped falling, but the snow is not going to go anywhere anytime soon. We've got an Arctic air mass in place. We're starting out at or below zero in some communities this morning, and temperature today will only get to the mid-teens. The normal high should be close to 40 degrees for this time of the year, and tonight will drop into the single digits, although a southwest breeze will help to send temperatures back up into the teens late tonight, and the cold eases back for a couple of days tomorrow and Wednesday with temperatures approaching the freezing mark. Then it gets back down into the deep freeze for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We may not get above freezing until sometime around Groundhog Day.
The city of St. Louis made an addition to its snow removal effort Sunday night.
The mayor's office says that city crews continue to work 12-hour shifts to make arterials, secondary roads, and hill routes passable. They've activated a fleet of contractors to roughly double the force. The contractors are embedded in the street department effort. The mayor's office says with an average of 9 inches snow accumulation and very cold temperatures sticking around, the decision was made to call in the additional help. They expect significantly better road conditions by Tuesday afternoon, if not sooner. Once snow routes are in good condition, crews will move to residential streets to ensure they are passable. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
It appears that, as predicted, areas in southeast Missouri and southwest Illinois got a little heavier snowfall. St. Genevieve, Missouri, featured 13.6 inches. Chester, Illinois, 11.3. Most of the metro area measured in the 8 to 11 inch range.
The official storm total at Lambert Airport was 8.2. At the National Weather Service office in Weldon Spring, it was 9.9 inches.
There continues to be flight delays and cancellations across the nation. According to FlightAware, there are 38 cancellations and 10 delays at Lambert Airport in St. Louis. And Airport Director Rhonda Homnebergy told our partners at Fox 2 those are mostly due to complications elsewhere.
If they are able across the system to get their runways and the roadways cleared, we should see a fairly normal day on Tuesday. And certainly by Wednesday, we expect it to be normal.
City of St. Louis offices are closed today for all non-essential operations. Essential city personnel will remain active to support emergency operations and essential services. All St. Louis County government buildings are closed to the public today as temperatures remain dangerously cold. Many services are available online. Meanwhile, in St. Charles County, government offices will have a late open at 10 this morning to allow employees more time to get there. But the 11th Circuit Court in St. Charles County will be closed all day.
A close call for first responders answering a call for an accident Sunday involving several tractor trailers on 44 by the Washington, Missouri exit. Bowles Fire District Chief James Casey talked with KMOX about what happened.
We had 2 units en route. The first unit arrived on the scene, was investigated, and had the second unit was going to provide advance warning. As they were getting in position to do that, they were struck by a tractor trailer from the rear.
Chief Casey says there were no injuries, but he cautions people driving to slow down.
A hung jury will allow Cori Bush's husband to walk free from his federal fraud trial for now. But will that last?
Brittany Merritt's attorney Justin Gelfand says while the federal government could retry the case, he doubts they will, citing the lack of a guilty verdict in last week's trial. He says the evidence they showed proved Merritt's innocence.
We introduced an abundance of evidence and testimony that established that it had real customers, did a number of moving jobs. We literally introduced pictures into evidence of moving jobs.
Merritt's was accused of fraudulently receiving COVID relief loans. Gelfand maintains Merritt's moving company was hurt by the pandemic, and those loans were intended to go to legitimate businesses like his. Bush is set to face off against Democratic Congressman Wesley Bell in an August 4th primary election for her old seat. A spokesperson for the prosecutors declined to comment. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Business Desk sponsored by Cred's Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Another Clayton project gets downsized. This time it's Sterling Bank, which had planned a 25-story high-rise on Bemiston a few years ago. Now it would be a 4-story office building, according to the Business Journal. The original plan was to be developed by Green Street, which has had major financial problems.
Just a few blocks from Sterling's project site, Midas Hospitality dropped plans for a high-rise hotel and jazz club complex. Another high-rise apartment tower planned for the site of the former 7-Up World headquarters was pulled, the developer deciding instead to do something with the existing building.
We'll check traffic next at 6:08.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I was ordering food for the office from the same few places for too long.
For workplaces suffering with office food fatigue, every day's a struggle.
Before starting Easy Cater, I assumed having no good vegan options for Carl in finance was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat OFF with a huge variety of favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Used daily, one platform lets you save time and shine. Ask your app store about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
Save more on the brands pros trust at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 35% off select major appliances and choose from our wide lineup of top brands. Plus, save $100 on a Little Giant 22-foot multi-position ladder. Now just $189. Built for strength, flexibility, and job site versatility. Pros, these savings will only be here for a limited time. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 1/30 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:10, and it's time for us to check in with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, again, there's lighter traffic out there, which is great. MoDOT's saying, hey, if you can delay your start time, that'd be great, and allow plows a little extra time and room to work. But for those of you who are getting out there, obviously, roads are, according to MoDOT and IDOT, in general around the metro area are covered. So, again, there are places where they're clear. Some places it's patchy, some places not so great. So just be prepared for changeable conditions, slow your speed, and just plan on a longer commute because of the slower pace you'll be taking to get where you need to go. We do have some incidents out there. We have a stall southbound 55 at the Arsenal exit. There's still that stall westbound 44 west of 141 in the right lane. We have a crash eastbound 44 west of Six Flags blocking the right lane there. A stall in the right lane. Folks seem to be getting by it okay so far. Eastbound 64 between Chesterfield Parkway East and Timberlake. Signal problems reported at Olive and 141. They're on red flash there. But like I said, highways out to the northwest of us are in better shape, but everybody's got a little something they're going to have to deal with this morning. So just stay alert and slow yourself down a little bit. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
An extreme cold warning remains in effect until noon today. Sunshine and bitterly cold are high to 16. Clear tonight, breezy, bitterly cold are low 9, although temperature will slowly rise to the teens late tonight. More sun than clouds tomorrow, breezy, but not so bitter in the afternoon, a high 30. Wednesday, mostly sunny, high 31. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
5 below in Florissant, 7 below in St. Peter's. We have 5 below, feels like 12 below with the wind downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:12. Questions and criticisms mounting following the fatal weekend shooting by ICE agents in Minneapolis.
The death of 37-year-old Alex Preddy was caught on video from multiple angles, and those videos do not support the federal government's narrative. That was that Preddy was an assassin and domestic terrorist hell-bent on murdering ICE agents. KMOX Democratic analyst Michael Kelly says it's telling that the city's police chief came out and said,
"We don't know what's going on. Our federal partners aren't communicating with us. This is being done for political purposes, and it's not being done by protocol and with training, and it's just so unnecessary and wrong."
Republican analyst John Hancock says he hasn't gotten any word from his federal sources either.
I texted our current and former federal elected officials who I worked with, have worked for, have advocated for. I got zero response back.
Hancock says until Trump's fellow Republicans stand up to him and speak out, tragedies like the one in Minnesota may continue to occur. Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
Is it appropriate for CBP to tackle a person, shoot him while he's on the ground?
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says ICE is killing people on American streets, and he adds American people are reacting with outrage, as they should.
Governor Pritzker says it is time to bring down the temperature.
But also to push ICE out of Minneapolis. They ought to step back, and ICE needs to be revamped. Honestly, we ought to abolish Trump's ICE and replace it with something else.
And Pritzker tells CNN local police are trying to keep the peace.
You think ICE and CBP are doing that by all the pictures, all the video that you've seen? That's not what they're about. They are literally about fomenting violence, probably so that the president can invoke the Insurrection Act, which is what he's wanted to do all along.
Maria Keenan, KMOX News.
A recent story about fake trading cards featuring Kansas City Chiefs star Travis Kelce may be the start of a new trend in scams, according to the Better Business Bureau. Josh Planos of the BBB's Midwest office says scammers try to cash in on popularity.
Celebrities are very useful vehicles to get scam-related content in the hands of consumers because they're widely known. They are people that consumers are very interested in learning more about or accessing merchandise from.
The latest trend is a form of phishing in which scammers have placed a QR code on unordered packages. He says don't scan any mysterious QR codes.
Well, the Super Bowl this year will not be featuring Travis Kelce or Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson or any of those big stars that you've seen from the AFC or the NFC for that matter. It's going to be the new kids on the block, the New England Patriots. Yes, this is a new look Patriots team. They are back in the Super Bowl and trying to win a record 7th. And on the other side, the Seattle Seahawks, who we haven't seen in the Super Bowl in 11 years. In fact, the last time they were in the Super Bowl, they lost to Tom Brady and the Patriots. This time it's Drake May against Sam Darnold. May is the up-and-coming NFL star quarterback, MVP candidate, against Darnold, who has been trying to break through for a number of years. He's very well respected in the league. A second-year head coach in Mike McDonald for the Patriots, and for the Seahawks, and for the Patriots, Mike Vrabel, who was fired by the Titans recently, and he has had a massive resurgence with the Patriots. Darnold threw for 3 touchdowns, and the Seahawks defense came up with a critical 4th down stop. Seattle advanced to the Super Bowl by beating the Rams 31-27 last night. And for New England, it was May scoring the only touchdown on a 6-yard keeper. And the Patriots are off to their 12th Super Bowl with a 10-7 win over the Broncos. It was Christian Gonzalez who intercepted Jarrett Stidham at the New England 36 with 2:11 remaining, and the Patriots iced their first playoff win in Denver when May ran for 7 yards on a 3rd and 5 from his 41 to get the job done. Patriots will face the Seahawks in Super Bowl 60. This will take place in Santa Clara, California, the home of the San Francisco 49ers. Tomorrow at Chaifetz Arena, it's the Billikens and George Washington. Right now, St. Louis University, ranked 24th in the nation, is unbeaten in the league at 7-0, the only unbeaten team in the Atlantic 10, and they're 19-1 overall. They're going for their 20th win tomorrow. They have a disruptive defense, one of the best in the country, but one thing Josh Schertz, their head coach, would like to see more of, forcing turnovers.
Yeah, I think, anytime you're looking at, basketball, I think one thing, probably the stat that drives winning the most, is certainly, shot quantity, right? Like who gets more shots? I mean, it really probably more than any other statistical analysis, drives who wins. And there's 4 mechanisms, to generate an advantage in shot quantity. And that's obviously, your ability to take care of the ball, low turnovers, forcing turnovers, the opponent, and then offensive rebounding and your defensive rebounding. And, you want to create advantages in the possession game. And, our turnovers have been pretty good. We've not turned the ball over a ton. We've been really good. I think for the most part, Duquesne notwithstanding, a lot of that was late. We've been really good inside the games of battering the basketball, taking care of it.
They are going to get after that tomorrow as they take on George Washington, one of the better teams in the league as well. 7:00 is start time here on KMOX 645 pregame. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Billikens and the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
KMOX, celebrating 100 years. Presented by Purina, your pet, our passion. Now, a KMOX pioneer.
With his deep, resonant voice and flawless delivery, John McCormick became the sound that millions heard as the day came to a close. Affectionately known as the man who walks and talks at midnight, McCormick brought you a calm, dignified presence to KMOX's late night hours, a throwback to the golden age of radio announcers.
Good morning, everyone. John McCormick speaking, the man who walks and talks at midnight. From our little part of the world, the city of St. Louis, here comes 50,000 clear channel red-hot watts of the wide horizon late-night signal of radio.
Listeners across the country tuned in to hear that unmistakable voice, a steady, comforting companion whose elegance and precision helped shape KMOX's nighttime identity for generations. John McCormick, a KMOX pioneer.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. It could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Now, the news. At 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:20 and time for a check of traffic and weather, starting with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
There's a few more folks on the highways, but all in all, it's not bad as far as that goes, Debbie. Now, we do have incidents out there, and again, road conditions are not optimal. There's patchy driving surfaces. Most highways seem to have a couple of lanes mostly clear most of the time, but a lot of it's, the powdery snow's blowing around, so even then it's hard to discern. in the dark, at least. As it gets daylight, may get a little better look at things. Do have a few incidents to be aware of. They're still working with a stall westbound 44 west of 141 in the right lane. We had the crash in the right lane eastbound 44 west of Six Flags. There's also a stall eastbound 44 near 100 Washington. That one looks like it's on the shoulder. That stalled tractor trailer still out there in the right lane eastbound 64. Before you get to Timberlake, traffic's a little slow at that one. Olive at 141, signals are on red flash. They're working to clear that stall at the exit to Arsenal southbound 55. It's not in the through lane, so you should be able to get around that one okay. And again, road conditions, especially on bridges and overpasses, are going to be a little worse. I do see a little bit of a backup downtown right now. Westbound 64, it looks like there's a minor crash just before the 70 split, a little jam up as you get past 3rd Street after that. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Bitterly cold today, extreme cold morning until noon, a high of 16 today. Tonight, rather breezy and bitterly cold, low 9. Tomorrow we'll get some sun, but a high of only 30 degrees. Currently, it's 5 below, feels like 12 below downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:22 and the news continues. Travel headaches span the country following this weekend's snow and ice storms. We get more from CBS's Bradley Blackburn on the cleanup effort underway in the ice-covered South.
A thick layer of ice settled on surfaces in East Texas, a common sight across much of the South, including near Nashville, Tennessee, where power lines and trees collapsed.
Another boom. Another tree came down.
Customers could be in the dark for days after hundreds of thousands lost power. The heavy ice has paralyzed communities from Alabama to Washington, D.C. and Atlanta.
A manager helped save a homeless woman who was outside his store, homeless during the winter storm. The story from CBS News reporter Christopher Cruz.
As the storm roared through Texas Wednesday night, a woman named Bobby, who often stayed near the South Fort Worth Food Mart, remained outside. Thursday morning, a customer rushed into the store and said Bobby was on the ground, motionless. Manager Faris Hussein.
So I instantly was like, hey, man, no, there's no way. We got to go help her right now.
Hussein ran outside, lifted Bobby off the ground, and brought her into the store to warm up.
She felt like a rock, as stiff as a rock.
Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
One university in Illinois is trying to make one of its programs more accessible.
A legally blind sophomore at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign has inspired a pair of professors to look into ways to make the world of architecture easier for other blind and low-vision students. Those professors say due to a lack of current accessibility, there simply aren't many visually impaired young people involved in architecture. In hopes of changing that, the two are looking to create new tools and programs, including more 3D models, to help expand the university's architecture offerings for all students. Andy Dane, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Have you also noticed that ever since TikTok switched to American ownership last week, the app isn't always working properly? We get the latest from CBS.
Is TikTok broken is even trending, but on Instagram, since some users say they can't even get onto the app anymore. There was a big outage over the weekend, and those who could sign in are complaining that it's lagging or that they keep seeing the same videos in their feed, which is now feeding a conspiracy theory that the Chinese messed with the algorithm when they sold it, even though the new American owners insist nothing has changed. Chris Mavrides, CBS News.
President Trump now threatening to slap a 100% trade tariff on Canadian goods if Canada moves forward with a trade deal with China. He warns Ottawa not to become a gateway for Chinese products entering the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is backing up the threat.
It was just about a week or so ago. Prime Minister Mark Carney of Canada met with President Xi of China to negotiate a framework of a deal that would call for Canada to significantly drop its tariffs on Chinese-made EVs, although a limit would be set in terms of how many electric vehicles would be imported into Canada from China. But that's significant because it signaled that the Canadians were willing to look for other trading partners.
New survey of businesses finds many are optimistic about the months ahead, though there are still challenges.
This survey from the National Association for Business Economics finds companies are cautiously optimistic. More than half expect sales to increase, and most say labor shortages are not a problem, even though they're not necessarily hiring. Survey analyst Lester Jones.
Pretty much people are sticking with what they have. It's just kind of this no hire, no fire environment.
Nearly 73% of respondents said they were optimistic about AI's impact on their business. Cammie McCormick, CBS News.
The killing of another U.S. citizen by federal immigration officers caused silence at an NBA game.
I'm Heather Bosch. Moments before the Minnesota Timberwolves NBA game against the Golden State Warriors Sunday, the crowd at the Minneapolis Target Center heard this.
Please join us in honoring the life and memory of Alex Pretty with a moment of silence.
Sound courtesy NBA FanDuel Sports Network. The game was originally set for Saturday, but postponed after Pretty, a 37-year-old U.S. citizen, was fatally shot by Border Patrol agents in Minneapolis. The NBA stating the delay was to prioritize the safety and security of the Minneapolis community. Heather Bosch, CBS News.
It's 6:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER. SSM Health welcomes the St. Louis Golf Expo January 30th through February 1st at St. Charles Convention Center. Buy big brands with Pro-Am Golf, test your skills, and win prizes while they last. VIP tickets at STLGolfExpo.com.
It is 6:30, and it is a very cold start to the day. It is 5 below. Feels like 12 below right now. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's see how the roads look. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're, getting busier, but so far pretty limited as far as actual trouble spots. We've got a few stalls here and there. Obviously, if you're on westbound 44, west of 141, we had that one in the right lane, eastbound near 100 Washington. We had one, and then we had a minor crash in the right lane, eastbound 44, before you get to Six Flags. Southbound 55 at the exit to Arsenal, there was a stall. We had a crash downtown Westbound 64 at the 70 split. Looks like they've cleared it, but traffic is still, again, much slower than it normally would be because of the patchy road conditions, especially bridges, overpasses, on and off ramps where the cold air gets under the driving surface. They may be particularly icy, and that's why I'm sure it's slower on 64. West of the Poplar on 44, west of and south of the bridge there on those elevated stretches downtown. Signal problems at 141 and Olive. They're on red flash. Not a lot of volume there, so you should be able to stop and go without any real issue going through there. But again, just use caution. But the roads out to the west, like I was looking at 70 coming in through Wright City, it looks a lot better. Pretty clear highways there. It's more in closer to the city and to the south where road conditions aren't as great. But again, just plan on longer commute times due to the weather and plow crews out there trying to make your morning better. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We have an extreme cold warning in effect until noon. It will eventually warm up to about 16 degrees today and 9 overnight. But the good news, temperatures will start rising into the teens late overnight. And then tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy with a high of 30. Enjoy that because it'll be back to bitter cold by the time we're heading into the weekend. Right now, it's 5 below, feels like 12 below.
The cold weather's not letting up anytime soon. Mayor Kara Spencer tells CNN there are many St. Louis residents already living in compromised housing.
As a result of the nation's largest tornado since Chaplin and just earlier last year. And so, as you mentioned, this is life-threatening for everyone, but especially folks who are still dealing with out roofs without windows.
The extreme cold weather warning remains in effect.
City of St. Louis offices are closed today for all non-essential operations. All St. Louis County government buildings are closed to the public today as well. In St. Charles County, government offices will have a late open at 10 this morning to allow employees more time to get there.
Missouri Health and Senior Services has important information on what to watch for and how to avoid frostbite. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Heidi Miller.
People need to be really careful. The way to detect frostbite is to look at the areas of the skin that could be affected. So that could be fingertips, nose, ears, cheeks, chin. There can be any kind of color changes, and in particular for patients with darker skin.
Miller says the color change could look a little red, but not necessarily. She says it can be yellowish, purple, gray, white, lighter, or black. It's hard to tell. And if it's hard to tell, look at your fingernails.
Capillary refill, you can see when you pinch your fingernail, it turns like it blanches and then it refills. During frostbite, that process is much slower.
The affected area will turn cold and may even be waxy and start to get firm.
Well, if you're heading to the airport, CBS's Jesse Mitchell says there will be some challenges for passengers in the wake of the storm.
U.S. airlines are required to provide refunds, even if travelers bought a non-refundable ticket. Most carriers also allowed passengers to switch to another flight without charge. Meteorologists warn the travel effects of the storm could last for days.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your money minute next.
Okay, I don't want to be mean, but if you're a guy and you just have a grimy, multiple times refilled bottle of Dial that's got the crusty soap on the outside, that's a red flag.
What if you just have a bar of Dial soap with no soap dish?
I never like the bar of soap.
What if you have one bar of soap and you take it from the shower to the sink, back to the shower? How would you feel good about going to that guy's house?
Oh my gosh, I think I would just leave without saying anything.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, weekdays at 9 on KMOX.
Fairwinds River's Edge is more than a place to live. It's a place to belong. Come see why we have been voted Best Independent Senior Living Community for 4 years in a row by U.S. News and World Report. We think you'll like it here, and the experts agree. Come see us for yourself. Call to schedule a tour and complimentary lunch, or to learn more about our upcoming app university that can help enhance your everyday life. Find us online at fairwindsriversedge.com.
Taking care of your health should be simple. And with the Neovitin monthly subscription, it finally is. Choose your doctor-formulated multivitamin and we'll deliver it straight to your door every month. No more running out, no more remembering to reorder, just consistent nutrition made easy. Plus, subscribers save 10% every month and can pause or cancel at any time. Visit neovitin.com and start your subscription today. Neovitin, trusted nutrition every day.
It is 6:35 and time for your Money Minute. It is sponsored for you by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute.
Volkswagen says its plans for a possible Audi factory in the U.S. are not progressing. The automaker CEO tells a German media outlet that the calculus has shifted with the Trump administration's tariffs on European car makers. Volkswagen has considered adding a second American manufacturing site on and off for some time, with the company trying to gain a bigger slice of the U.S. market. Checking in on your money this morning, stock index futures are heading for a slightly lower open. S&P futures are down 14 points, Dow futures dropping 45. With an announcement on the next Federal Reserve chair possible as soon as this week, the central bank's rate decision will be in focus for Wall Street this Wednesday. And shares of Intel plunged 17% in trading on Friday. The chipmaker gave a lackluster forecast and warned that it was struggling with manufacturing problems. Its financial forecast fell well short of Wall Street estimates. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Missouri Athletic Club, they sent us a note last night saying that the hours of operation are downtown. Athletics opening at 7 a.m., so they're about to open. Dining's going to open at 7 a.m. downtown. The front desk is going to be normal. Out west, fitness will open at 10 a.m. For those of you members, just passing along in case you didn't see it. Dining out west is going to offer lunch with limited availability. They are staying true to their members and their employees, of course, during this difficult weather. Can't wait to get that email that also includes Clayton. We have a third clubhouse that is going to open this spring in Clayton. The Missouri Athletic Club is excited to have a Clayton location. It's in the Pierre Laclede Center in Clayton, the former location of the St. Louis Club. It is going to be fantastic. The Missouri Athletic Club, mac-stl.org to learn more.
John Pertzborn here, and I've come to respect the good works of Hardy's Rise and Shine for Heat benefit, supporting heatupstlouis.org, where 100% of the proceeds help families and seniors with Missouri and Illinois utilities. It's Friday, February 13th, your lucky day. Volunteer now or pre-order sacks of sausage or egg biscuits only at heatupstlouis.org. Put the biscuits down, gentry.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Rush Hour Sports, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here.
Bernie Miklasz joins Rush Hour Sports tonight at 5 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
It is 6:39. There's been a shooting at a soccer field in central Mexico.
Gunmen opened fire at a soccer field in central Mexico on Sunday, killing at least 11 people and wounding 12. Salamanca Mayor Cesar Prieto said in a statement that the gunmen arrived at the end of a match, firing indiscriminately into the crowds. 10 people died at the scene and 1 died later in hospital. The mayor said a woman and a minor were among the wounded. He said the attack was part of a crime wave in the city and appealed to President Claudia Sheinbaum to help control the violence. Guanajuato had Mexico's highest homicide total last year. A local gang, Santa Rosa de Lima, has been battling the powerful Jalisco New Generation cartel. The Guanajuato State Prosecutor's Office said it was investigating the latest shooting and coordinating with federal authorities to reinforce security in the area. I'm Lawrence Brooks.
It's 6:40. Let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, still not all that busy on the highways, which is great. Gives plow crews more room to work and get the roads cleared more quickly. So just, plan on a slower commute just because of road conditions, but at least it's not based on volume. We still have these stalls out here. Westbound 44, west of 141, we've got that one. The stalled tractor trailer, eastbound 64 before Timberlake, still the right lane block for that. Actually, 2 crashes reported on 44 between Pacific and Six Flags. Looks like they're both off to the right side. The one closer to Six Flags was blocking the right lane. It's hard for me to tell. It's sort of behind an overpass if they've got it over to the shoulder, but they're still out there. I still see the flashing lights at those locations. Again, downtown, bridges may not be optimal. Those overhead stretches of 64 west of the Poplar and 44 just south of the Poplar going to be a little slower. It's going to be a little more icy, I would imagine. There's also slow traffic approaching the Canal and Chain of Rocks bridges and the JB Bridge down south as well right now. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
But my lips are turning blue. Are they fast?
My darling, Jerry Kelly can install a new furnace tomorrow, no matter what day tomorrow is, even if we call late at night.
You are my hero.
They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. JerryKelly.com.
It is 6:41, and I even was a little surprised at what the temperature is out there this morning. Let's get the very latest about this extreme cold from our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg.
In a word, Debbie, it's just brutal outside this morning. Many suburbs are below zero this morning, 3, 4, even 5 in some of the coldest spots. We'll see sunshine today, but it is going to be a very slow warm-up, only getting to 16 this afternoon. And, of course, with that breeze that'll be kicking in, that means the real field temperatures are going to stay below zero pretty much all day long. It'll remain breezy tonight, and bitterly cold will drop to 9 early, but by morning, temperature will be on the rise into the upper teens. We'll get a little relief for a couple of days from this extreme cold starting tomorrow. With sunshine, we'll get to 30. Mostly sunny Wednesday, the high in the low 30s. Enjoy it because we go back into the deep freeze on Thursday. Mostly cloudy, the high 22. And even with some sun Friday, temperatures likely to only reach the mid-teens. Right now, it's 1 below at St. Peter's, 3 below in Florissant, only 2 above with clear skies downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 6:43. New details are emerging about the fatal shooting of an ICU nurse in Minneapolis by federal agents, including multiple eyewitness videos that conflict with official accounts of what led up to the encounter. Local, state, and federal officials are still offering different versions of the events. Here's CBS's Lana Zach in Minneapolis.
Freddie worked as an intensive care nurse at a VA hospital. In a social media video, he's seen conducting a hallway memorial for a deceased veteran.
May we never forget and always remember our brothers and sisters who have served.
In a statement on Saturday, Freddie's parents said, "The sickening lies told about our son by the administration are reprehensible and disgusting. Please get the truth out about our son. He was a good man."
Former President Barack Obama calling the latest fatal shooting in Minneapolis by federal officers a wake-up call for Americans, and he's condemning ICE tactics in the state. President Trump, meanwhile, defending his administration and the Department of Homeland Security's actions. We get more from CBS's Willie James Inman from the White House.
It was Saturday that he addressed this latest fatal shooting, writing, "Let our ICE patriots do their job." He also accused the mayor of Minneapolis and governor of Minnesota of inciting insurrection.
At least 15 people have died after a ferry carrying more than 350 passengers and crew sank off the Philippine Islands.
I'm Vicki Barker at the Foreign Desk. The ferry sank in the early hours off an island in the southern Philippines. Search crews have rescued 316 people, but at least 24 are still missing.
That massive snow and ice storm dimmed marquees over the weekend and even shut down movie theaters from Texas to Massachusetts. CBS's Jesse Mitchell takes a look at some surprises in the box office receipts.
The storm brought disappointing results to the weekend box office, the lowest tally so far this year, with moviegoers spending just over $53 million in ticket sales. The sci-fi movie Mercy finished in the top spot with more than $11 million. Avatar: Fire and Ash flamed out of the #1 slot after 5 weeks with around $7 million in sales. And Zootopia 2 was third with $5.7 million.
Well, millions will be watching in 2 weeks as the Seattle Seahawks, a 4.5-point favorite, will be taking on the New England Patriots in Santa Clara, California. That is the home of the San Francisco 49ers. There was a lot of chatter in the NFC West about the 49ers, about the Rams. Who emerged? the Seattle Seahawks and Sam Darnold. He is very well respected around the league, threw for 3 touchdowns, and his defense came up with a big 4th down stop, and Seattle advanced to the Super Bowl. They beat the Rams 31-27 in the NFC Championship game. Mike McDonald, their second-year coach, is going to the Super Bowl. When he was asked by Michael Strahan on the podium last night about that, the Seahawks emerging and hearing all of the talk about the Rams and 49ers preseason and all season, he said, "We don't care." Darnold, the Seahawks quarterback, reaching the Super Bowl, and this is for Seattle its 4th Super Bowl in franchise history, first in 11 years. Seattle lost that most recent one to New England, and the Patriots will again be the Seahawks' opponent. Drake May scored New England's only touchdown on a 6-yard keeper. He also had a 7-yard run on a 3rd and 5 from his 41 that sealed the game after the Christian Gonzalez interception of Denver quarterback Jarrett Stidham. The Patriots and the Seahawks in Super Bowl 60, and in Mike Vrabel's first season as coach, New England became the 3rd team in the Super Bowl era to win a conference championship with 10 points or less. Vrabel was recently fired by the Titans. He takes over the Patriots, and they are going to be tough to stop. Although, as I mentioned, they are a 4.5-point underdog against Seattle 2 weeks from now in Super Bowl 60. Tomorrow night, it's St. Louis University basketball. The Billikens taking on a very good George Washington team. Don't be deceived by 3 losses. To their credit, they have lost to some very good teams in their league. The Atlantic 10 Conference right now featuring St. Louis at the top of the heap. But George Washington, even though they have 3 losses, those losses were to Dayton on the road, George Mason on the road, and at home to Davidson. George Mason just lost to Rhode Island. That makes SLU the only unbeaten team in the A-10. SLU and George Washington tomorrow night at Chaffetz Arena. It's a 7 o'clock tip-off. Top 25 college basketball today. Some good games, actually, to keep an eye on. Number 5 Duke is hosting number 23 Louisville. That one tips off at 6. And then later tonight at 8, number 1 team in the nation, Arizona, visiting BYU. BYU's ranked 13th in the country. They are 17-2. This would be a threat to Arizona trying to keep an undefeated season going. In fact, there are only 3 undefeated teams remaining. Arizona is 20-0. Nebraska is 20-0. They're ranked 7th in the country. The 25th ranked team in the country is Miami of Ohio. They are 20-0. Billikens are 19-1. They go for their 20th win tomorrow. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Billikens and the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
An afternoon programming for American radio. The program is called At Your Service.
Among those voices, Mike Kelly.
Kaufman at the 11. Kaufman hurdles man at the 5, fighting for the end zone. Touchdown, Missouri!
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Hey, St. Louis City SC fans, mark your calendars now. The Boys in Red return to Energizer Park to kick off Season 4 Saturday, February 21st. And you could be there for the dawn of a new golden era of St. Louis soccer. Go to stlcitysc.com/tickets and reserve your seat now for the MLS home opener versus Charlotte FC. Limited quantities remain. See you soon, St. Louis.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop. Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
Big game, big screen, big energy at Ballpark Village, Sunday, February 8th. Enjoy the big game like you're in the end zone, featuring in-arena touchdown celebrations, fan cams, contest VIP packages, and more, hosted by Artie J and DJ Dex. Save up to $10 on tickets with code KMOX. Tickets and event details at stlballparkvillage.com/events. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:50, this is Total Information AM, and it's time to get a check of traffic and weather. The weather, bitterly cold this morning. Let's get a look at the roadways from Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it sounds like we have a stalled tractor-trailer on eastbound 70 near 79 now, Debbie. This traffic reports a service of Meadowview Memory Care. Maybe some of the wheels locked up, brake lines frozen, something like that. So they're going to go check on that. I'm checking downtown right now. Right now, I'm starting to see traffic now. Came with humidors say that the Mutual Veterans Bridge was shut down. They had it blocked off, but I'm seeing traffic now. Now, I didn't see traffic about 5 minutes ago when I was looking, so there must have been a temporary incident. They got it cleared. There's not much traffic coming across, but there is traffic coming across there, and that's good news. We had the stalled tractor trailer. We mentioned the one at 79. We had the one eastbound 64 near Timberlake. We had the crashes on 44. That sounds like they're both off to the right-hand side. A couple of them between Pacific and Six Flags. Highway O at Highway NN, we have a injury crash, and emergency crews are on the way to deal with that as of a couple of minutes ago. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Discover Meadowview Memory Care in Arnold, a small, secure community on a beautiful campus. Enjoy peace of mind with all our inclusive rates and comfortable private suites. Schedule your tour today at rspseniorliving.com.
Well, it is frigid out there, and we're in an extreme cold warning until noon. AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says bitterly cold today, plenty of sunshine, a high of 16. Tonight's low 9. Then the temperature rises into the upper teens late tonight. Tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy, breezy, not as harsh, with a high of 30. Currently, it's 5 below, feels like 12 below downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:52, and it's been quite a weekend with the weather and the news cycle. So Jill Schlesinger, our CBS News business analyst, is joining us right now. I don't know if this is going to make people feel better, but maybe they can focus their attention on tax season opening today.
Okay, I'm sorry. Now, let's reframe this.
Okay.
Oh my God, terrible weather. You have 5 below. My goodness. And for me, the Patriots advanced to the Super Bowl. So really, really bad as a Jets fan. So what's good? I think people are going to get larger than expected tax refunds this season. That's interesting. I don't love a tax refund. I've said this a million times on your air because you're basically giving a loan to Uncle Sam. This one, I'm not getting paid interest for it. This time when you get a big refund, it's probably because of that big tax law that was passed last summer. So what happens is, Congress gets together. Oh, yeah, we passed this bill. And it's so late in the, halfway through the year. It's not like companies change your withholding. Like what likely has happened for millions of Americans is that they over withheld based on the new tax code. And so you're going to get a big refund. So isn't that good? I'm giving you good news. No?
Okay. No, I'll take that.
All right. Thank you. Can I tell you about 5 big changes that I'm just going to flag for you?
Please.
Okay. First of all, exciting for people like me, a new IRS form. Stop it. I'm so happy. Schedule 1A will outline these for you. But these deductions that I'm about to talk about are only in place for 4 years, from 2025 through 2028, and they're all income tested. If you make too much money, you're not getting them. So number 1, if you're 65 and older, you could get a bonus deduction of $6,000. That's amazing. No tax on tips. That will be on tips up to $25,000. No tax on overtime, capped at $12,500 for an individual, $25,000 if you're married filing jointly. Do you have a car loan? Deduction for auto loan interest. This has a limit of $10,000. So that's huge. That's 4. The 5th is if you live in a high tax state, the state and local deduction cap, SALT tax, you may have heard of that, goes from $10,000 up to $40,000. So there you go. 5 big changes that could result in you getting more money in a refund.
You can read her at JillOnMoney.com. She is CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger. We always appreciate it.
Take care.
It's 6:55.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
A record 9 Hart trophies as the most valuable player in the NHL. Won the Art Ross Trophy, the NHL season points leader, 10 times. MVP of the Stanley Cup playoffs, twice receiving the Conn Smythe Trophy, and on it goes. Hockey Hall of Famer, the greatest player in the history of the game. Wayne Gretzky is celebrating a birthday today, lives in St. Louis part-time also. He is 65 today.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Dan Bruce, Matt Berger, also Jeff Keck, Debbie Jenkins, Mary Kay Kafka, Wayne Hebden, and happy birthday to Kim Wall from The Blessings.
This is the best birthday ever.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house, on the walls, the patios, the walkways, the porch, or the chimneys? If so, you need to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. 314-645-1387. You might need one of two things: solid tuck pointing, the removal of old mortar with the replacement of new mortar throughout an entire wall or chimney, or maybe just spot tuck pointing. Spot tuck pointing involves the tuck pointing of a particular wall, a chimney, or other masonry surface in an area where it's needed the most. One example might be settlement cracks, usually found above or below windows or doorways. 314-645-1387. Call the company that the Brennans have called when we've needed tuck pointing. Morelli Tuck Pointing, the masonry specialists. Winner of the Angie's List Super Service Award every year since 2005. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
If you're trying to sell your home, there's only one group of agents in town I trust: Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system, options, and strategies to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. Check out the GelmanTeam.com.
For decades, Morgan & Morgan has represented hundreds of thousands of people at their hour of need. Injuries on the job, car crashes, medical malpractice, and nursing home abuse, Social Security claims, dangerous drugs, and dangerous products. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason, and no firm is even close. Then we got to thinking, what if we could prevent these terrible events before they occurred? So we built the AI-powered People Protector. Simply visit peopleprotector.com and type in the product you have questions about before you buy it. Children's toys and accessories, cars, drugs, products, you name it, we got it. With our success, we decided to pay it forward for all of America. Our way of saying thank you for your trust all these years. Morgan & Morgan, protecting America. And if you've already been injured, just visit us at forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
No, a few stalled tractor trailers out there, Tom. I'm looking at one on the ramp, the Rock Road getting on to westbound 70 there in North County. There's still that one in the right lane, eastbound 64. Before you get to Timberlake, there's one reported eastbound 70 at 79. The road conditions are still patchy and dicey, so please be careful out there. Next update at 7:10 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Monday, January 26th. I'm Debbie Monterrey, and coming up after CBS News, the latest on road conditions, Lambert Airport flight delays, the bitter cold that'll be sticking around all week.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Sunshine today, but bitterly cold, high 16.
I'm Scott Jagow. KMOX political analysts Hancock and Kelly are outraged by the ICE shooting in Minneapolis. We'll see what they think is coming next.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. What's next for the Billikens is George Washington tomorrow at Chaffetz Arena. We'll have a preview of that and the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. The Seahawks and the Patriots, plus the latest on Brendan Donovan. Is he going to be traded? Chaim Bloom talked about it yesterday on KMOX.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour. Your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A deadly winter storm is winding down across a huge portion of the country, but many are still in a deep chill. That includes this woman in New York City.
It sucks. It's cold. I'm still forced to go to work. Why?
CBS meteorologist Rob Marciano from snowy Central Park.
A massive winter storm crippling communities with ice and snow from the southern plains to the northeast. Dayton, Ohio, receiving nearly a foot of snow in just 24 hours, turning roads into car minefields and forcing some people to abandon their vehicles on Interstate 75. At one point, more than 1 million Americans without power.
800,000 customers still have none. At least 13 deaths are blamed on the weather. The FAA says a private business jet with 8 people on board went down on takeoff in Maine last night.
Respond to Bangor International Airport in Bangor for an overturned aircraft.
Bangor Dispatch reporting the incident. No word on conditions at the airport at the time or details on the passengers or pilot. It had been snowing steadily there all day. Records show the plane is registered to a Houston-based law firm. A court in Minnesota hears a suit today seeking to prevent federal officials from destroying evidence in ICU nurse Alex Preddy's shooting death at the hands of ICE agents Saturday. CBS's Lana Zach from Minneapolis.
Preddy was a lawful gun owner with a permit to carry a concealed handgun.
These officers used their training, followed their protocols, and were in fear of their lives and the people around them.
Witnesses on the scene testified that Preddy was holding his phone and did not approach the agents with a gun. He approached them with a camera.
The Department of Homeland Security, not the state, is leading the investigation. It's been called the commodity of fear, and the markets are more afraid than ever.
Amid growing financial and geopolitical uncertainty, the price of gold has risen above $5,000 an ounce for the first time ever, extending a historic rally that saw the precious metal jump by more than 60% in 2025. What's driving that surge? Ongoing tensions between the U.S. and NATO over Greenland. President Trump's latest tariff threats have also worried markets. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
It'll be a 2015 rematch at the Super Bowl.
Oh my God! Seahawks! Super Bowl, baby! Here we go!
Seattle and New England are set to face off at Levi's Stadium February 8th after the Seahawks beat the Rams 31-27 to take the NFC title. In the AFC, Patriots top the Broncos 10-7 in snowy Denver. This is CBS News.
I'm Andrew Garrett. Follow and listen to The Takeout on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcast.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-932-5858. That's 800-932-5858. 800-932-5858.
It is 7:04. It is very cold out there. Let's get the very latest. Yep, it's 5 below zero in downtown St. Louis. Feels like 12 below. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Bundle up if you're headed outdoors today. Here's KMOX AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
We're now in the middle of a stretch of some of the coldest weather that we're going to see for the rest of the winter season. Temperatures today are only going to get to the mid-teens, and nighttime lows will drop to about 9. Although we do expect a southwest breeze to kick in and send temperatures back up through the teens later tonight. And there'll be somewhat of a reprieve from the deep freeze tomorrow and Wednesday, but it's short-lived. I think we go right back into the icebox for the end of the week. Temperatures Thursday, low 20s, and probably teens for Friday and Saturday before there's some modification on our weather as we go into next week and we start to see highs on a more consistent basis getting into the 30s. In terms of how this is going to impact road conditions, you're just not going to see much melting take place over the next 24 hours. That should improve as we go into the day tomorrow.
It appears that, as predicted, areas in southeast Missouri and southwest Illinois got heavier snowfall. St. Genevieve measuring 13.6 inches. Chester, Illinois got 11.3. Most of the metro area in St. Louis measured in the 8 to 11 inch range.
The official total at Lambert was 8.2. At the National Weather Service office in Weldon Spring, it was 9.9 inches.
The city of St. Louis began deploying contractors Sunday to help city crews plow and treat roadways, secondaries, and hill routes. Jay Johnson is with King's Snow Removal.
We're going to be hitting the streets as long as it takes, all day and night, until we get all the streets as clean as possible, salted, safe to drive.
The mayor's office says once the snow routes are in good condition, crews will move toward the residential neighborhoods. Coming up at 7:22, we'll check in with IDOT engineer Joe Monroe to see how things are going in the Metro East.
No verdict could be reached in the trial of Cori Bush's husband on Friday. Does the federal government try again?
Although a hung jury keeps Courtney Merritt out of jail, the federal government could attempt to retry the case. Merritt's attorney, Justin Gelfand, says the federal government could, but
I hope that reasonable minds will prevail, that they'll realize that they took their chance, that the case is not what they thought it was, and it wasn't perceived by the jury the way they thought it would be. And there's no reason to believe that a second trial would go any better for the government.
Gelfand says the timeline for a retrial is unknown, with much of it up to the mercy of the D.C. District Court docket. Bush is running to reclaim her congressional seat from Democrat Wesley Bell. They both face off in a primary election in August. A spokesperson for the prosecutors who brought the case declined to comment. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, the St. Louis area's largest auto dealer group just got larger. Bomarito Automotive Group has taken over the former David Taylor Ellisville Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Bomarito, founded in 1971, is the largest dealership based on sales, more than 27,000 vehicles sold in 2024, and is one of the St. Louis region's largest family-owned businesses with almost $3 billion in sales.
We'll check traffic and weather next at 7:07.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve, plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. There's never a good time for your heating system to stop working. If yours does, no matter what time or day, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency HVAC service. Contact our award-winning team for 5-star heating service and stay in your comfort zone. For heating and 24/7 emergency service, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is now going on 7:10. Let's get you updated on traffic and weather. If you are heading out, you probably are going to find a mix of road conditions. Let's get the latest from Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, now to the west is where it's better, or northwest, I guess, Debbie. Eastbound Highway 70 and westbound 70 for that matter. More clear lanes coming through St. Charles County from Warren County. So that's good to see, obviously. In other places, it's not as good. It's patchy in some spots, and some spots doesn't look that bad. But we keep having little incidents pop up. We saw that stalled tractor trailer eastbound 64 before you get to Timberlake. Looks like if it's in the right lane, that lane isn't that great anyway, so you should stay out of it. So traffic's getting by. By the way, lighter volume today. I know a lot of kids are off school, so parents are staying home and whatnot. So not a lot of traffic out there compared to what we would normally be seeing this time of day. We also have a report of a car spun out facing the wrong way south 270 at the Teston Ferry exit. I can't see that one. Still have the stalled tractor trailer, the stalled westbound 44 west of 141, right lane block there. Eastbound 70 or 79, they reported a stalled tractor trailer as well. I don't see delays through that area, at least. We had that one on the ramp from the Rock Road getting onto 270 up in North County as well a few minutes ago. Double U at Hackberry, a pickup truck off the roadway. At Double N, we have an injury crash on a couple of the secondaries. And again, bridges, overpasses, on and off ramps are going to be a little dicier, so take it easy. Again, everybody seems to have a slower pace running, which is great, and that's just going to add to your commute time, though. Not a lot of volume, but just road conditions will slow you down, so plan accordingly. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, an extreme cold warning in effect until noon. Bitterly cold today despite sunshine, the high 16. Tonight, clear, rather breezy and bitterly cold, our low 9, but temperature will rise into the upper teens by morning. Tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy, breezy and not as harsh, the high 30. Wednesday, mostly sunny, cold, the high 31. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Currently, it's 5 below, feels like 11 below downtown at the Arch.
It is now 7:11. One person is in critical condition after jumping from the second floor of a burning 4-family flat in the 4000 block of Fair. This happened Sunday night. The St. Louis Fire Department reports when crews arrived, the second floor was engulfed in flames. Fire investigators have been requested.
Speed is likely what caused an 18-wheeler to slam into the back of a Bowles Fire District fire engine on Sunday. Chief James Casey tells KMOX they were responding to an accident call on I-44 near the Washington exit.
They were not hurt. The tractor trailer driver was not hurt. It hit more of his trailer hit at the last minute. He realized that he was in the wrong lane, and his trailer is what caught our truck.
The entire country scrutinizing Saturday's fatal shooting by ICE agents in the streets of Minneapolis.
KMOX Republican analyst John Hancock says he's outraged by the incident, starting with the fact that there's video from several angles, and none of those videos depict what the federal government told the American people.
Government came out and lied and said he was there to perpetrate some sort of mass shooting against federal agents. You don't make those claims until at some point after an incident, you go through and you review the person's, social media. There's no indication whatsoever that this guy was there to inflict damage on federal agents.
Democratic analyst Michael Kelly also weighed in on Total Information AM Sunday.
The other thing that just remains to be unbelievable to me is the lack of humanity that gets shown even after it happens, where the sides get drawn and the narratives get spun.
A federal judge has blocked the Trump administration from destroying or altering evidence related to the shooting of 37-year-old Alex Preddy. Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker among those responding to this weekend's fatal shooting.
These ICE and CBP officers are untrained, they're unqualified, they're unprofessional.
Governor Pritzker is accusing Greg Bovino of wanting to be known as some sort of superhero.
Does social media about himself while he's causing people to, run and be scared of law enforcement. He's carrying tear gas and tossing it at peaceful protesters. He actually looks like some sort of cartoon villain.
Pritzker tells CNN Bovino needs to be asked serious questions like, is it appropriate for CBP to tackle a person and shoot him while he's on the ground? Maria Aquina, KMOX News. AP Sports, I'm Gethin Coolbaugh. The Patriots and Seahawks are headed to Super Bowl 60. New England secured its record 12th Super Bowl appearance with a 10-7 win in snowy Denver in the AFC Championship game. Drake May had 65 yards rushing and a touchdown.
Whatever out there tonight, we're going to the Super Bowl. That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty cool. So just proud of this team.
Seattle earned its 4th Super Bowl berth by defeating the LA Rams 31-27 in the NFC title game. Sam Darnold Fitzgerald passed for 346 yards and 3 scores. The NBA postponed games in Memphis and Milwaukee due to a winter storm affecting much of the U.S. Defending champion Madison Keys was knocked out of the Australian Open by fellow American Jessica Pegula in the 4th round, and world number 1 Scotty Scheffler earned his first win of the year by 4 strokes at the American Express. Gethin Coolbaugh, AP Sports.
Thank you, Gethin. And locally, the buzz is basketball.
Robbie along the perimeter, behind the back pass to Sharma, fadeaway 3. Oh, instant Sharma. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable.
I tell you, milk it till it moves, man.
Wow, and Robbie found him with a behind the back no-look flip on the wing. Unbelievable. 88-50.
Ishan Sharma had 9 threes as the Billikens ripped St. Bonaventure on Friday, 97-62. Illinois won 88-82 over their opponent, Purdue, at Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, and their guard, Keaton Wagler, hit 9 threes and scored 46 points.
Yeah, how about that? Keaton was obviously, ironically, a guy we thought we were getting here, so coming out of Kansas City. But what a great player he is and what a great game he had yesterday. But how about, Ish, 29 points in 24 minutes, 9 made threes. We've seen it a number of times in practice. He's obviously shot the ball well. I mean, he's had 5 threes in a game, I think, a couple times this year. But we've seen those, ignitable days where when he gets going, man, it's unlike anything I've ever seen in terms of he can string, 8, 9, 10 in a row in live play, which is just so hard to do. And then the degree of difficulty wasn't like he was, out there playing horse. I mean, he's flying off stuff and body moving and he's able to flip his hips. And
that is Coach Josh Schertz marveling at the scoring production from Ishan Sharma, who had 29 points in that win over St. Bonaventure. 9 threes went down. The Billikens take on George Washington tomorrow night at Chaffetz Arena. It's a 7:00 tip for them. Illinois, as I mentioned, with their win over Purdue, are in a 3-way tie for second place in the Big Ten. The Billikens are leading the A-10 right now. They're the only team in the league that is unbeaten. And then there's Missouri winning on a buzzer beater, 2 of them actually, one that sent the game into overtime and one that won it. Mark Mitchell knocked it down. They beat Oklahoma 88-87. Mizzou plays tomorrow at 7 at number 17, Alabama. Illinois gets to wait a little bit longer. They'll host Washington on Thursday at 8:00. Meantime, the Cardinals, when are they going to trade Brendan Donovan, or are they? At least that's what media reports continue to say surrounding the Cardinals with rumors about Donovan. Here's Chaim Bloom with the straight story on KMOX.
Yeah, and those mentions are obviously understandable, both given just where we are and some of the things we've been doing, and also obviously the player, the person. Everybody's heard me say all the wonderful things that I have to say about him, and none of those obviously have changed on field, off field. He's everything you would want to have in your uniform. And, that's why we're placing a really high value on him and also doing our jobs and listening.
But they aren't necessarily making a deal. Don't feel pressure to make a deal, although Bloom did say he'd like to have some clarity before the team reports to spring training in a couple of weeks in Jupiter. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
How many of you think taxes will go up in the future? And if they do, who will get hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Thursday, February 19th or Tuesday, February 24th. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family. for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
Save more on the brands pros trust at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 35% off select major appliances and choose from our wide lineup of top brands. Plus, save $100 on a Little Giant 22-foot multi-position ladder. Now just $189. Built for strength, flexibility, and job site versatility. Pros, these savings will only be here for a limited time. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 1/30. While supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:20, and we're going to get a check of traffic and weather, and then we're going to check in with how things are going on the Illinois side as far as road cleanup. So stay tuned for that. Here's Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, give them room to work because they're trying to get things better for you. And, we haven't had too many problems, thankfully, with that spin-out crash we had, Debbie, South 270 at Tesson Ferry. They already cleared that. They got back underway. They cleared that stall westbound 44 west of 141. Reporting another crash on eastbound 44. A person requested an ambulance eastbound 44 east of Pacific. We've had a couple out there earlier. They cleared all those. They were working with that stalled semi eastbound 64 before Timberlake. It looked like it was mostly over on the right shoulder. Again, bridges, overpasses, on and off ramps, especially the on and off ramps. The highways look good in some spots, but the ramps getting on and off the highways are really in bad shape. And of course, they're working on the main roads first, and they'll sort of get around to the other stuff as they get the main lines clear. Thankfully, not a lot of volume out there this morning, so that's helping you and the plow crews. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Roger, it's chilly out there. It is freezing. We're going to have an extreme cold warning until noon. Bitterly cold, plenty of sunshine, high of 16 today. Tonight, clear, breezy. We get down to 9. Temperature rises into the upper teens late tonight. Tomorrow, a high of 30. We will have sunny to partly cloudy conditions, not as harsh. And on Wednesday, our high is 31. Currently, it's 5 below, feels like 10 below downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:22, and it's been all hands on deck for road crews all weekend long trying to keep up with this snowfall. And we're checking in right now with Joe Monroe with IDOT. And Joe, we appreciate the time this morning. What would you say is the condition of roadways now, and what are your biggest challenges at the moment?
I think Roger hit it perfectly. Our main lines are in pretty good shape. We made some progress overnight. Seeing the sun was a welcome sight. We got chemical being deployed. You're going to see exactly our full arsenal today of all our chemical and all our equipment. Proud of the women and men behind the plows. They followed the plan. We're in as good a shape as we can be on main lines. But those ramps have been a challenge. They catch snow. They've got, just think of twists and turns. No matter which way the wind was blowing, those ramps were going to be a challenge for us. We're going to get main lines as good as we can be before we put that type of chemical on the ramps. We want to make sure we got sun at least on the majority of the ramp to make sure the chemicals are effective and they stay that way until we can, keep our rounds through them. They're just a little bit of a challenge for us, but if we get full sun in 15, we'll make great progress on them throughout the day.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. That was well described, how sunshine can affect those chemicals. Even with a high of 16, that sunlight certainly helps. What do people need to know the most? I mean, it seemed like yesterday they heeded the call to stay home and let these vehicles and these people who are out clearing the roads do their jobs.
Well, you can get where you need to go. If you have to go to work, I've been on 3 of the area interstates in 3 counties already this morning. We're thankfully probably 10 to 15 miles below the posted speed limit, which is about where we need to be for the condition of the roadways. Throughout the day, we will make progress, but be prepared. The snow is still really light and fluffy. You can still see what we call snow snakes coming across the roadway. They will catch on the chemical. We could have an area that, through our efforts of making things better, You could, have an icy slick spot that wasn't there 10 minutes ago just because the snow cutting across and catching on our chemicals. And then the ramps will be the last to turn. That shouldn't be a shock to everyone. So when you're getting ready to enter or exit a highway, just be prepared. You really got to take it easy, no sudden moves, and don't hammer the brakes. If you're starting to lose it, roll out of the accelerator and try to manage it with your steering wheel if you can.
Joe, we appreciate the time this morning. We'll let you get back to it.
Thank you.
That is Joe Monroe with IDOT joining us here on KMOX.
It's 7:25. In today's On the Road feature, CBS reporter Steve Hartman visits Syracuse, New York, for a heartwarming tale.
A few weeks ago, police officers in Syracuse, New York, were surprised to find someone living amongst the dead.
Where do you live right now, dear? You don't have a home.
The story of how 55-year-old Rhea Holmes came to live in a cemetery starts with the death of her husband. She and Eddie had been married 26 glorious years and were planning to finally buy their dream house.
And this was the home that we were going to purchase.
It wasn't grand, but it would have been theirs.
So the offer got accepted.
The offer got accepted.
And that same day, your husband died.
Yes.
So Rhea took the down payment and spent it on a cemetery plot instead, with a bench for reminiscing.
I'll lay here anytime with you.
Unfortunately, living in the past took a real toll on her present.
Left with little money and little left to live for, Rhea slipped into depression, lost her job, and got evicted. She was too proud to move into a shelter, so Rhea took up residence at the only place she felt she owned, her husband's grave.
This is what I purchased.
So you slept right here?
Right here.
And she lived there.
Under the stars.
From last May all the way through last month.
You could have died there.
Yes, I assumed that I was going to die there.
And then along comes an angel.
Along comes an angel.
Officer Jamie Pastorello is the angel who took Rhea under his wing after hearing about her plight.
It was just the right thing to do, and I wasn't going to let Rhea sleep outside again. Complete turnaround. In 20 days, she went from sleeping on the cold, hard ground in a cemetery to her own home.
What Jamie did was start a crowdfunding campaign and then connected Rhea with a nonprofit called A Tiny Home for Good. Today, she still lives with her husband.
Hey, lovey.
Just now more figuratively.
I miss you so much.
Obviously, nothing will ever replace Eddie.
Jamie!
But we got a sense from this reunion and the multiple hugs she bestowed upon Officer Pastorello that this new friendship will keep Rhea from moving back to that cemetery anytime soon. Steve Hartman on the road in Syracuse.
It is 7:28. That time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-284-1238. 800-284-1238. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-284-1238.
Hey, Happy New Year, big boy. Hey, what's up, Izzy? Also known as the Kool-Aid Man. You got any New Year's resolutions?
I got one, Eddie. I've promised myself to spend more time on that toasty warm, huge, heated outdoor patio of yours. It's nothing like having your coat off, drinking the coldest beer in town with hundreds of your family, friends.
Man, it is a toasted patio, and that's a great resolution. And thanks for not mentioning things like weight loss and health kick and Those would be hard in Fast Eddie's. It'd be hard to lose any kind of weight or take away from anything when you got the 5-pound Fat Eddie burger, the hot chick on a stick, that big Elwood on a stick, and those succulent peel-and-eat shrimp.
Yeah, I am not losing any weight hanging around your place. I learned it's a lot easier just to make those resolutions simple and fun, buddy.
Man, and that's easy. You're right. That's a great resolution. So make your resolution fun. And head on over to Fast Eddie's Bon Air. You know where to go across that big, beautiful Clark Bridge and come into Alton, Illinois. So like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, we'll see you at Fast Eddie's Bon Air.
Kool-Aid Man.
At 7:30, it's 5 below. Feels like 11 below downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and this is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, as you're getting out on the highways again, you just heard Joe Monroe telling you the story on the Illinois side. Pretty much the same thing on the Missouri side. Interstates are getting better. There's, patchy stretches as you go, but especially on and off ramps, bridges, overpasses. Those are the places where the road conditions are quickly changeable. You may have really great driving conditions on the interstate and all of a sudden hit that ramp and it's, a sheet of ice. So just please be careful and just keep the speed slower in general to avoid having potential troubles like anything like that, obviously. If you're going out right now onto the area roadways, they just cleared that crash. The crash is on the shoulder. That one eastbound 44 past Pacific that I mentioned earlier, they call out an ambulance for that. They cleared the stall westbound 44 past 141. That crash we had South 270 at Tesson Ferry, that's out of the way. So if you're heading out, just a few little incidents here and there, but nothing of any serious consequence. Again, just road conditions keeping you slower. The volume isn't all that bad. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
That extreme cold warning lasts until noon today. Joe Lundberg says a high of 16 with some sunshine. Tonight, bitterly cold, low 9. We get into the upper teens by late tonight. Tomorrow, a high of 30. Wednesday's high 31. Mostly sunny each day. Right now, looking at 5 below, feels like 10 below downtown at the Arch.
St. Louis City snow removal crews continue working 12-hour shifts, and they're getting help from contractors as of Sunday afternoon. Sean Hadley is a spokesperson for the Streets Department.
Bridges, overpasses are our main focus. We also, hit into some of the other side streets and make sure we're getting to the most of what we can.
The mayor's office anticipates significantly better road conditions by Tuesday afternoon, if not sooner.
There's been some flyer frustration at Lambert Airport in St. Louis as airline carriers attempt to get passengers to their destinations following the big storm. High Ridge resident Samantha Huck spoke with our news partners at Fox 2 about trying to get to Bangladesh to be with her ailing mother.
I wasn't frustrated because I know it's weather. We can't do anything about it. I know people tries their best to fix everything. Only thing was I was worried I take a holiday from here, PTO, and then go and losing a day or two on your way, losing a day or two with my mom. So that's the only thing.
Huck said she had no luck flying to Dallas for a connector on Sunday, so she's trying Los Angeles today.
The weekend winter storm left the eastern 2/3 of the country with heavy snow, severe ice, record cold temperatures, and many power outages. CBS News meteorologist Rob Marciano says this bitter cold is impacting the homeless community particularly hard.
Our Jason Allen in Oklahoma City experiencing how below zero wind chills swelled local shelters beyond capacity over the weekend.
Every space is filled up.
The priority is keeping people safe and warm. Wherever we can fit people right now,
on the floor,
we're going to do that. So this is not normal, but in an event like this is pretty much what we see and what we expect.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your money minute next.
Let's go! You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter? Right? And the best part? They accept Discover. Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer. Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times. Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
SSM Health welcomes the St. Louis Golf Expo January 30th through February 1st at St. Charles Convention Center. Get bonus golf balls and Pro Tour tickets while they last. Presented by Post Dispatch. Shop with Pro-Am Golf. Play Sinclair Lincoln's Long Putt powered by Evolve Putters. The Back 9 Crestwood Simulator. The Battlehawks Chip Shot. And sip drinks by Skimmers, Tito's, and Four Hands Cannabis at the Golf Expo January 30th through February 1st in St. Charles. Thanks to Gateway Golf Cards, Booth Creek Wagyu, and Amateur Players Tour. Special tickets at stlgolfexpo.com.
Italian subs for your finance team in Chicago. Easy Cater. Burritos for your call center crew in Plano. Easy Cater. Bagels for your sales reps meeting clients in Charlotte. Easy Cater. Hot chicken sandwiches for your third shift warehouse workers in Memphis. Easy Cater. Your teams may be spread out across the country, but you've got one platform to feed them all, whenever and wherever they work, with food they love from favorite restaurants. Easy Cater. Food for the workplace, all in one place. Order now at easycater.com.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
It is 7:36, and that means it's time for us to get you your money report. It's sponsored this hour by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Rare earth minerals are essential for products ranging from smartphones to electric vehicles. China controls the vast majority of the world's rare earth mining and processing, leaving American industries exposed to potential supply shocks. So the Trump administration is said to be planning to invest $1.6 billion into USA rare earth. According to a report from the Financial Times, the government will receive a 10% stake in the Oklahoma-based mining company. Stocks are set to open cautiously at the start of a big week of events, including the Federal Reserve's interest rate decision and a number of key earnings reports. And tech investor SoftBank is hitting the brakes on talks to buy data center firm Switch. For months, SoftBank was pursuing a deal of around $50 billion for Switch and its network of energy-efficient data centers. Sources tell us some folks within the SoftBank camp were worried about the logistics of running data center campuses from Las Vegas to Atlanta. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
Fairwinds River's Edge is more than a place to live. It's a place to belong. Come see why we have been voted Best Independent Senior Living Community for 4 years in a row by U.S. News and World Report. We think you'll like it here, and the experts agree. Come see us for yourself. Call to schedule a tour and complimentary lunch, or to learn more about our upcoming app university that can help enhance your everyday life. Find us online at fairwindsriversedge.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge. Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places that I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
This is John Pertzborn with Ben and Gentry for heatupstlouis.org.
We're the Golden Boys!
For the 26th Rise and Shine benefit.
It's Friday, February 13th.
Your lucky day to volunteer.
Or buy a sausage or egg biscuit for $1.
At participating area Hardee's.
It's heatupstlouis.org to also pre-order. That's heatup, STLOUIS.org.
Put the biscuits down, Ben.
Oi!
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead on your terms. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Let's get back to the roads. Roger Brand, what's the latest? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, thankfully, not a lot of volume out there, Tom, so it hasn't been terrible for you if it just, the slower pace because of the road conditions, but that should be the worst of it for you. This traffic reports the service of Meadowview Memory Care. We do have a couple of incidents out there. The stall reported northbound 170 near Delmar in the right lane. We have a crash. Westbound 370, just west of the Mills, right lane block there. Traffic's generally slow on westbound 370, again, just off the pace because of the road conditions. They're also reporting a crash eastbound 70 near Bermuda. That one is on the shoulder. And the car, I could see the pickup truck off the roadway, that crash I mentioned, eastbound 44 east of Pacific. They had the right lane blocked for a few minutes with emergency crews. They went back in service. So now it's just a pickup truck off the roadway at that location. But like I said, bridges, overpasses, on and off ramps are going to be the diciest. Please be careful. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Discover Meadowview Memory Care in Arnold, a small, secure community on a beautiful campus. Enjoy peace of mind with all our inclusive rates and comfortable private suites. Schedule your tour today at rspseniorliving.com.
All right, it's 7:41. It's time for us to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. And looking out the window, it really looks beautiful. We've got snow and blue skies and sunshine, but oh my goodness, it's cold.
It's cold. It's brutal. I mean, temperatures are still kind of going backwards at this hour. We're down to 2 below at St. Peter's, -4 in Florissant, 1 degree downtown at the Arch. And it's just not going to be warm today. Our high only gets to 16 with bright sunshine. We still have the extreme cold warning in effect until noon. Tonight will be clear, breezy, and bitterly cold. We'll drop to 9, but that should be about it. I think a southwest breeze will send temperatures rising through the teens late tonight, all the way up to 30 with more sunshine tomorrow. It'll be mostly sunny Wednesday with a high of 31. And then it turns colder on Thursday. A lot of clouds, our high temperature only 22. And we'll get to 14, and that's it on Friday with clouds and some sun. This cold continues into the start of the weekend. As I mentioned, 2 below at St. Peter's, 4 below in Florissant, sunny, 1 above downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Joe, thank you very much. It's 7:43. On Saturday, there was another deadly shooting in Minneapolis, the second this month by federal agents in that city. The Department of Homeland Security claims the man federal officers killed, Alex Preddy, was, quote, brandishing a gun. But videos of the incident paints a different picture. CBS Mornings spoke with law enforcement contributor and former Suffolk County Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison, who says ICE agents should be wearing body cameras.
When you have all the agents surrounding Mr. Preddy and you can't see where his hands are, and I think I just want to make a quick judgment here. And once again, it's a split-second call. Did Mr. Preddy have his hands available or accessible to the agents, and was there a fear that he was reaching somewhere to potentially pull out the firearm that was already pulled out by one of the agents?
For some local analysis, KMOX Republican strategist John Hancock says the president's fellow Republicans must stand up to him. He says Congress has done very little to curb Trump's executive powers.
Right now, the checks and balances that our founders built into this system are not working. If they continue to fail, we're going to continue to have other tragic and reprehensible incidents.
The courts are taking some action. For example, a judge blocked the administration from destroying or altering evidence related to this weekend's fatal shooting, but the courts move slow, and Democratic analyst Michael Kelly says frustrations are going through the roof.
There just seems to be a question of what are we doing? Why are we doing this? And
where is the humanity in all of this? It's tragic and sad.
Minnesota officials are calling for a full impartial investigation.
A CBS News and YouGov poll shows President Trump's approval rating at 41%, with 59% disapproving 1 year into his second term. Support remains solid among Republicans, but has slipped with independents and younger voters. We get more from CBS's Willie James Inman.
The president has often complained about his poll numbers, his approval ratings. To be specific, leading up to this midterm election, public polling, including our CBS News polling, will tell you that voters want to see the president focus more on the economy, less on international issues like Greenland and Iran and other things around the world. They want to see him focus more on the economy and lowering prices. And at least our last CBS News poll showed that the president is underwater in terms of his approval rating.
Couple of great football games yesterday to get the Super Bowl set. It'll be Drake May against Sam Darnold, MVP candidate against a quarterback that is well respected throughout the league. May against Darnold, two stingy defenses. Second-year head coach Mike Macdonald and a first-year head coach in his second act. That would be Mike Vrabel, who was fired by the Titans. The Patriots and the Seahawks will go at it on February 8th at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California. Darnold threw for 3 touchdowns, and the Seahawks defense came up with a critical fourth down stop. Seattle advanced to the Super Bowl by beating the Rams 31-27 in the NFC Championship game. The game before that was low scoring. It started to snow in the second half, and New England was able to squeeze out a victory over the Broncos 10-7. Drake May scoring New England's only touchdown, and he also had the biggest run of the game, which was a 7-yarder on a 3rd and 5 from his 41 as time was ticking away, and they ran out the clock on the Broncos. Patriots going to their 12th Super Bowl. They're going to try to win a record 7th when they face the Seahawks in Super Bowl 60. Meanwhile, we have basketball to watch this week in St. Louis. The St. Louis Billikens are taking on George Washington tomorrow. The Billikens will be playing a George Washington team that can really move and do some things that probably their record doesn't indicate. They have 3 losses in the A-10. But if you look closer, they've lost at Dayton. They've lost at George Mason. They fell to Davidson. Billikens are unbeaten right now. Here is head coach Josh Schertz.
It'll be a blast. Should be a really good game. Like I said, 2 really up-tempo teams. I think watching them, all the other 13 teams in the league, they're the best offensive team, hardest to guard, and will be a great game for fans who like good basketball. Should be, like you said, an amazing week. We're welcoming GW Dayton, 2 monster games for us. Hopefully, fans will be turned up and out, and like I said, that place will be rocking. And we know when that place is loud, there's no harder place in the A-10 to play. I know there's some hard places to play, but I would take Chaffetz over any of them when it's turned up.
7:00 tip-off tomorrow night on KMOX. We're also the home of the Cardinals. Chaim Bloom with an update on the Brendan Donovan trade market.
When it comes to the market, it's been interesting the way the offseason has gone, where you kind of have seen this more recent flurry and a little bit of a late flurry, where it's usually not around winter warm-ups that some of the biggest offseason signings, and then the week to follow, some big trades happen. Every offseason has a little bit of a different pace. This one has had some periods of high activity and then some periods where it feels like you're sitting around waiting. Look, if as much as we want to keep our ears open, we also want to make sure we're doing right by the organization. In this case, if we were to contemplate something with Donnie, obviously we'd put a pretty high price tag on it, given all those things that I said about the player he is and how much he means to us.
But they do want to have some clarity here over the next couple of weeks, one way or the other. They're either going to trade Donovan or they want to have him ready to go when spring training starts in Jupiter. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house, on the walls, the patios, the walkways, the porch, or the chimneys? If so, you need to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. 314-645-1387. You might need one of 2 things: solid tuck pointing, The removal of old mortar with the replacement of new mortar throughout an entire wall or chimney, or maybe just spot tuck pointing. Spot tuck pointing involves the tuck pointing of a particular wall, a chimney, or other masonry surface in an area where it's needed the most. One example might be settlement cracks, usually found above or below windows or doorways. 314-645-1387. Call the company that the Brennans have called when we've needed tuck pointing. Morelli Tuck Pointing, the masonry specialists. Winner of the Angie's List Super Service Award every year since 2005. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Leave all the 2025 dirt and celebrate the new year with our friends from Zero Res. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, hard surfaces, basically every surface in your home can be Zero Resified, so it's time to call the cleaning pros at Zero Res. Zero Res has a 4.9 rating on Google, bringing in the new year with 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 plus a free hallway. Take 15% off regularly priced services when you mention the KMOX special 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Big game, big screen, big energy at Ballpark Village, Sunday, February 8th. Enjoy the big game like you're in the end zone, featuring in-arena touchdown celebrations, fan cams, contest VIP packages, and more, hosted by RDJ and DJ Dex. Save up to $10 on tickets with code KMOX. Tickets and event details at stlballparkvillage.com/events. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is going on 7:51. Let's get you traffic and weather. We sure have bright sunshine this morning, so that's reflecting off the snow. You might want to grab the sunglasses. Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, definitely bright out there. You're right, Debbie. And it may be harder to see if you're going eastbound, the icy patches on the roadway. So just keep your speed a little slower. So if you do, momentarily lose traction, you can regain control of your vehicle before anything more adverse happens than that. Looking at a spin out, no surprise, I guess. Northbound 170 at Page, pickup truck up against the median wall. They do have the left lane shut down. They say 2 lanes are open. There are 2 lanes open, but there's really only 1 clear lane coming through Page on North 170 right now. We had that stall near Delmar they're working to clear. Another minor crash just popped up westbound 70 at 5th Street. That one's off to the left-hand side of the highway. It's not blocking anything there. We had that spin out into the Rock Bluff. That's the one eastbound 44 east of Pacific. There's no lane blockage involved in that one either. Still have the slowest traffic on these elevated stretches of roadway. So we're talking 64 west of downtown, 44 from the Poplar down past 55. And of course, bridges themselves are going to be slower due to the colder conditions, the cold air getting underneath the driving surfaces. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says this bitterly cold weather is going to stay throughout the day. Extreme cold warning until noon, a high of only 16 today, a low of 9 tonight. Then we start to rise a little bit with a high of 30 tomorrow with some sun. Wednesday, mostly sunny, high 31. Well, that's going to feel good compared to what we have here. Thursday, though, we're back down to 22, and Friday's high is only 14 degrees. Currently, it is 5 below, feels like 9 below downtown at the Arch.
It is going on 7:53. Let's check in right now with Dave Roan. He is with St. Louis County Transportation and Public Works. Dave, what would you assess St. Louis County roads like right now? What are your biggest challenges?
Well, we were actually able to finish up our main plowing operations overnight / earlier this morning. We've got crews dedicated to intersections and the sporadic problem turn lanes, center lanes. But overall, our condition is in fair to good condition.
Well, I noticed it on the way in that some of those county roads looked really good to me. I wanted to ask about the extreme cold temperatures and the challenges that presents here moving forward.
Well, in terms of the temps, anytime it gets below 25 degrees, the rock salt that we use isn't as effective as it normally is, which is why we pre-spray calcium chloride on the rock salt before we head out onto the streets. So the chemicals themselves are somewhat less effective, but they still do work.
I was noticing that when I was shoveling on Saturday, the snow was very fluffy and light and kind of blowing around, but it seemed much heavier Sunday when I had to shovel it all. Did that change in the snow affect cleanup at all?
Well, the first burst of snow was in fact like light and powdery, which is always preferable in terms of plowing because it doesn't adhere to the pavement, due to gravity and the fact that there's moisture there. But anytime you have a heavier snow, it's a little more difficult to plow. But this was a significant winter event, and we've been out in the field salting and plowing since Friday night. So we're ready to put the plows away.
I bet. Probably fortunate that this hit on the weekend and not during any heavy traffic. But for that matter, you're seeing here today on Monday, not a lot of people on the roads. What is your advice to drivers today if they have to be out, Dave?
Well, they have to be cognizant of the fact that they are going to encounter random streaks or patches of snow. There's no way to 100% clear pavement on a 3,200 lane mile system. So just be cautious, obviously. And you mentioned earlier the sun, that winter sun can be a problem. So I just encourage caution.
And again, St. Louis County Transportation and Public Works is responsible for the county roads and not the interstates, right? I know people get confused about what's what.
That's right. Yeah, the MoDOT is in charge of the interstate highways and streets like Lindbergh and Page and Olive and Watson. But we have the county road system.
Appreciate your time, Dave. Thanks very much. Have a restful for your crew rest of your day.
You bet. Thank you much.
Dave Roan, they've been busy. St. Louis County Transportation and Public Works Public Information Manager at 7:56.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Morgan & Morgan isn't just an injury firm. It's our family's life work. It's my husband. It's my sons. It's me. When we take a case, we see a family just like ours. $30 billion recovered is something I'm proud of. But what I'm really proud of are the families we stood beside. It's an honor to fight for you when you need our support the most. Morgan & Morgan, for the people and your family.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER. At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway. Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
I see Fox 2 has the polar bears on camera. They were having some fun.
My dog was a polar bear over the weekend. She couldn't get enough of it.
Oh.
She kept wanting to go outside and run around the yard.
Our dogs love it.
I was worried her little feet would freeze, but she seemed fine.
I'm like, boys, will you please come in and not get frostbite? Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company, St. Louis Traffic Center.
Now looking at a couple of crashes with the left lanes closed, Tom. Right now, the one northbound 170, the spin out crash at Page, left lane's blocked there. And now this crash, I mentioned westbound 70 on the left shoulder at 5th Street. Emergency crews pulled up, and they do have the left lane blocked for that one. Again, folks, slow it down out there. Road conditions are still dicey. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Monday, January 26th. I'm Debbie Monterrey. Hundreds of thousands without power and the death toll rising after winter storms punished a huge swath of the U.S. over the weekend. We'll check in with AccuWeather's meteorologist Heather Zaire.
We haven't seen as many flights canceled since the pandemic. CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg has more on the impact of the winter storm.
The flu is still hitting families hard. We ask if there's anything you can eat to help build your immunity.
The United States has a new national defense strategy. We'll get insight from CBS News military analyst Jeff McCausland.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Bitterly cold with sunshine today, the high just 16.
I'll be back for the Gas House Gang at noon. Megan Lynch is next.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
I kind of wish the town would get here.
Americans are shoveling out from a massive winter storm that snowed in communities from Texas to New England. Meteorologist Craig Allen.
That's about 2/3 of the nation that was covered by this system in terms of winter weather alerts, which has resulted in major disruptions in all kinds of travel, whether by road, by rail, or by air.
For drivers like this guy in New York City.
There's no parking spots, and when you do find one, it's stuck in the snow, so you gotta, I think my car's damaged.
The storm blamed for at least 13 deaths. President Trump's just posted to Truth Social. He's sending his border czar, Tom Homan, to Minnesota tonight after ICE agents shot and killed the second person, Alex Pretty, in a month. Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino.
Let's think of what those agents were doing on that scene, making a split-second decision. You had 24 hours to try and armchair quarterback things. That agent had a split second to make a decision.
Correspondent Lana Zach is in Minneapolis.
Pretty was an intensive care nurse for veterans at the Minneapolis VA hospital. A 2024 video shows him reading a final salute for a deceased veteran.
Today we remember that freedom is not free.
Freddie's father said his son participated in protests after Renee Good was killed by federal agents earlier this month.
He cared about people deeply, and he was very upset with what was happening in Minneapolis and throughout the United States.
Homeland Security claims Pretty was brandishing a gun at officers. Bystander video shows he was holding a cell phone. At least 15 people have died after a ferry carrying more than 350 passengers and crew sank off the Philippines.
I'm Vicki Barker at the foreign desk. The ferry was sailing in calm seas when it suddenly tilted to one side in the pre-dawn hours, sending terrified passengers tumbling into the inky dark waters. One man wept as he told how his wife had lost hold of their 6-month-old baby, who drowned.
Saltaholic. New research finds we consume almost 3 times the recommended amount, and that raises the risk of death and heart disease. Dr. Daniel Jones, former American Heart Association president, says getting rid of salt in processed foods would help a lot.
Americans, we get about 75% of our sodium or salt from foods that are processed. So they're in a package that we buy at the grocery store.
This morning, the American Academy of Pediatrics defied new CDC recommendations. It's advising all kids get vaccinated against hepatitis B, flu, COVID, and 15 other diseases. This is CB.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies, only 0 downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, January 26th. I'm Megan Lynch. Let's begin with KMOX AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
We're in the deep freeze right now. Temperatures near 0 this morning. We will see bright sunshine today, and that will induce just a little bit of melting of some of the snow on some of the area roadways and surfaces, but it's not going to be very much. And as soon as that sun sinks down in the western sky and it sets the night, you can expect any wet and slush areas to quickly ice up once again. Now, the melting will be a little bit more effective with that sunshine tomorrow and Wednesday, as we're around 30, 31, 32 degrees both days. But again, as temperatures drop into the teens at night and single digits, you can expect any wet and slush areas to freeze up solid. And then we go back into the deep freeze Thursday and Friday and probably stay there through the weekend we do expect more modification in our weather as we go into the first half of next week.
The city of St. Louis made an addition to its snow removal efforts Sunday night.
The mayor's office says as city crews continue to work 12-hour shifts to make arterials, secondary roads, and hill routes passable, they've activated a fleet of contractors to roughly double the force. The contractors are embedded in the street department effort. The mayor's office says with an average of 9 inches snow accumulation and very cold temperatures sticking around, the decision was made to call in the additional help. They expect significantly better road conditions by Tuesday afternoon, if not sooner. Once snow routes are in good condition, crews will move to residential streets to ensure they are passable. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
In the Metro East, IDOT engineer Joe Monroe says the interstates are in decent shape, but advises taking it slower than normal.
10 to 15 miles below the posted speed limit, which is about where we need to be for the condition of the roadways. Throughout the day, we will make progress, but be prepared. The snow is still really light and fluffy.
Monroe told KMOX's Total Information AM that he's hoping sunshine will allow them to apply chemicals to the roads today to help melt some of the packed snow. He says to be especially careful on ramps as they will be the toughest for crews to tackle. A close call for first responders answering a call Sunday for an accident involving several tractor trailers on Interstate 44 near the Washington, Missouri exit. Bolles Fire District Chief James Casey spoke with KMOX about what happened.
We had 2 units en route. The first unit arrived on the scene, was investigated, and had the second unit was going to provide advance warning. As they were getting in position to do that, they were struck by a tractor trailer from the rear.
Chief Casey says, thankfully, there were no injuries. City of St. Louis offices are closed today for all non-essential operations. Essential city personnel will remain active to support emergency operations and essential services. All St. Louis County government buildings are closed to the public today as temperatures remain dangerously cold. Many services remain available online. Meanwhile, in St. Charles County, government offices will have a late open at 10 this morning to allow employees more time to get there, but the 11th Circuit Court in St. Charles County will be closed all day. A hung jury allows Corey Bush's husband to walk free from his federal fraud trial, but for how long?
Courtney Merritt's attorney Justin Gelfand says while the federal government could retry the case, he doubts they will, citing the lack of a guilty verdict in last week's trial. He says the evidence they showed proved Merritt's innocence.
We introduced an abundance of evidence and testimony that established that it had real customers, did a number of moving jobs. We literally introduced pictures into evidence of moving jobs.
Merritt's was accused of fraudulently receiving COVID relief loans. Gelfand maintains Merritt's moving company was hurt by the pandemic, and those loans were intended to go to legitimate businesses like his. Bush is set to face off against Democratic Congressman Wesley Bell in an August 4th primary election for her old seat. A spokesperson for the prosecutors declined to comment. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A recent story about fake trading cards featuring Kansas City Chiefs star Travis Kelce may be the start of a new trend in scams. That's according to the Better Business Bureau. Josh Planos of the BBB's Midwest office says scammers try to cash in on popularity.
Licensing agreements are very tightly controlled, largely at the NFL level. And I can promise you that if it is a new type of card or a new brand associated with that card, it deserves and warrants an additional search into what that brand stands for and whether it's real to begin with.
Plato says the con artists have been putting QR codes on unordered packages as a phishing scam tactic. We'll check traffic and weather coming up in 2 minutes. It's 8:08.
Hey, St. Louis City SC fans, mark your calendars now. The Boys in Red return to Energizer Park to kick off Season 4 Saturday, February 21st. And you could be there for the dawn of a new golden era of St. Louis soccer. Go to stlcitysc.com/tickets and reserve your seat now for the MLS home opener versus Charlotte FC. Limited quantities remain. See you soon, St. Louis.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about 213 Complex. And you can pick that up at supplement superstores. And quite simply, 213 Complex is the most effective and powerful all-natural weight loss supplement ever developed. Here's what it's doing for me and what it'll do for you. Boost the metabolism, gets it working at full go all the time. Helps with cravings. And man, that's a big deal for me. All-day focus energy with no jitters, no crash at the end of the day. It's a great tool for achieving your goals. Get out to supplement superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off your 213 Complex. And you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
I don't know about you, but I need something to look forward to. and I have found it. A 5-day Arizona adventure. This is coming up in September, so we've got plenty of time to plan, but I want you to consider going on this trip with me, Debbie Monterrey, and KMOX listeners. We're going to be based in Flagstaff for the cool mountain air and the wide open skies, and then we'll explore Sedona's Red Rock Country, stand at the edge of the Grand Canyon, and take in the crystal blue waters of Lake Powell. I've never been to Sedona or the Grand Canyon, and I cannot wait for this unforgettable trip. History, adventure, American beauty, all without the crowds or the summer heat. I'm told September is the perfect time to go, but these spots are going to fill up quickly. If you would like to travel with me and KMOX listeners to beautiful Arizona, Sedona, the Grand Canyon, go to travelwithdebbie.net right now, travelwithdebbie.net, or you can call to reserve a spot or get more information at 800-383-3131. That's 800-383-3131, travelwithdebbie.net.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM, Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Coming up on Total Information AM, hundreds of thousands of people without power and bitterly cold temperatures across the U.S. I'll get more on that massive winter storm that blew across the continent this weekend with AccuWeather senior meteorologist Heather Zayer. First, let's get a check of the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Megan, got a few crashes out there. I'm looking at the one they're still working with, the spin out into the median wall. Left lane's closed, northbound 170 at Page. Again, we've had very light volume today. Obviously, it's a good idea to stay home or, wait a little longer to head into work. So it's been helpful for the plow crews and for everybody else who's been on the highways. But just a little slowdown there. The emergency crews left the scene, so the left lane's back open, but those cars remained in the median westbound 70 at 5th Street. A minor crash, eastbound 64 near Clayton Warson to watch out for. They've had a couple of call-outs for EMS for a crash westbound 70 around Grand. I've been looking, and I have not seen it as of yet. Again, just be prepared downtown. I've heard 2 different call-outs for that within the last 10, 15 minutes or so. But otherwise, the rest of the highways, again, patchy conditions still exist on a lot of these roadways. So just take it easy, especially these elevated stretches. So bridges and the stretches downtown, 44 from the Poplar to 55 and 64 west of downtown out through Vandeventer. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
An extreme cold warning remains in effect until noon today. Sunshine and bitterly cold are high to 16. Clear tonight, breezy, bitterly cold, or low 9, although temperature will slowly rise to the teens late tonight. More sun than clouds tomorrow, breezy, but not so bitter in the afternoon, the high 30. Wednesday, mostly sunny, high 31. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Looking at those temps, we've got sunny skies, but that's going to fool you because it's 0 in Florissant, downtown at the Arch, and we're getting a report of -5 in St. Peters. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. The worst of the winter storm has passed, but now millions of people are dealing with the aftermath. Let's get more from AccuWeather senior meteorologist Heather Zayer. Heather, thanks for joining us again this morning.
Hey, good morning, Megan. Thanks for having me.
Give us a sense of the magnitude of this storm.
Well, one of the most interesting statistics that I have seen in that regard is that 1 month ago, we had about 19% of the lower 48 states that was covered by snow cover. Now, in the wake of this storm, it's 56%. So it was a huge increase in snow cover just from this one storm. It has been affecting so many states, and most of them with wintry precipitation.
Historically, where does this rank when it comes to winter storms and the impact? Do we know yet?
You know, it depends on where you're talking about. It's definitely going to be in one of the bigger storms in some of the areas that were hit hard by ice. The Nashville area certainly did get hit hard. In particular, that comes to mind when you're talking about areas across the Northeast. They certainly had a lot of snow with a lot of places across Pennsylvania and New York State and over into New England that got at least a foot of snow. But the number of people that got over, say, 20 to 24 inches was relatively low. So in those areas, it's not going to be as historic of a storm as it is in some places farther to the south and the west.
Talk about that ice. You mentioned that, how many issues and how many states were impacted by ice instead of snowfall?
I mean, there was ice falling in a lot of different parts of the country, certainly places that are not used to the ice falling, but we ended up seeing at least some ice reported and some ice accumulation from portions of eastern Texas up across Louisiana and southern parts of Arkansas, and then all the way across the Tennessee Valley over into the Carolinas, up to West Virginia, and then not as much in the way of freezing rain, but more sleet fell up into portions of New Jersey and Pennsylvania. But in terms of the freezing rain, we definitely saw it in a large number of states, at least a dozen states across the Deep South and the Tennessee Valley and over into the Carolinas.
Heather, could you explain something for us? I've often heard that, as the temperatures get colder, we actually don't get as much snow sometimes. But with this, we have had incredibly cold temperatures, plus this record snowfall in some areas.
A lot of that has to do with the fact that as you start to get these really cold air masses, they're usually very dry. And so when you hear things like, oh, it's too cold to snow, that usually refers to the fact that these air masses are usually coming from the Arctic. They're what we call continental air masses. They don't have a lot of moisture with them. And so it's just too dry. It can't really snow. This was not that case. We certainly had that cold air and that dry air, but we also had a lot of moisture coming up from the southwest. And that made the difference, that it was still able to snow. And then you kind of tip the needle the other direction. When you do get snow falling at these kind of temperatures, you'll often hear the 10 inches of snow for every 1 inch of water. When you can start to get even more out of an inch of water when you get to these very low temperatures. And we did see some places with, say, a 15-to-1 ratio or even a 20-to-1 ratio. So with less moisture, you can actually make more snow.
I've heard a number of different estimates of how many people are without power still. It's significant, hundreds of thousands of people. With cold like this, how dangerous does this continue to be?
It definitely is a big problem, because that is the other thing that is at least somewhat unusual about this, is not just that it's going to remain cold behind the storm. We'll often see cold blasts for a day or two behind a storm, but for how long this deep cold is going to last, and at least in some of the northern areas, and down into, say, parts, even here into our area, the cold is going to get deeper and worse as we go deeper into the week. And the power in some of these places is going to take quite a while to be able to be put back on. So there is going to be building dangers of hypothermia and issues to go along with that as well. So it's going to be very important for people to make sure that they have a source of warmth in the coming days if they don't have power.
So for us here in the St. Louis region, what are we looking at as far as the forecast over the next few days?
Fortunately, it mostly looks dry. I think there's a narrow chance of some precipitation somewhere in here toward the end of the week, maybe Thursday, but it's a very, very low chance. It would not likely be significant. So for the most part, it's the cold we're worried about. Now, we do have here a little bit of a break from the worst of the cold. Now, it's not today. Today's high is still only 16, even though it's going to be bright and sunny. But we do get a little break for tomorrow and for Wednesday with high temperatures that at least do get back close to the freezing mark. So it's a step in the right direction. But then we also got that resurgence of cold weather, and we're going to be back to high temperatures by Friday that are about at the same level they are today, and just with a few clouds around.
So when we look at the impact, on the St. Louis region, obviously I feel like things were pretty close to what was forecast here. Is that you're feeling that the forecasts were fairly accurate this time around?
Yes, most of the reports that I saw from around the St. Louis area were between that 6 and 10 inches of snow. So I think the forecast was pretty reasonable. We did end up with some lighter snow amounts off to the northwest of the city as well, again, as we had kind of advertised. Though I think that perhaps to get down to those areas where we had only the 3 to 6 accumulations, you might have had to go a little bit further out than we might have initially thought. But definitely overall, most places from St. Louis on south and east did end up with that 6 to 10 inches.
One last question for you, Heather. When it comes to folks that might be traveling to other parts of the country and wondering how were they impacted, are there any areas right now that you would say people still need to avoid travel to?
I think the biggest issues are going to be in the places that had more of that ice to contend with. That's mostly going to be, say, the Tennessee Valley, northern portions of Alabama and Mississippi, and over into Arkansas and Louisiana. Those are kind of the places that had the worst icing conditions, even into the Carolinas. So those are the areas that I think are going to struggle the most to be able to recover just because of how much ice they had. You're also just going to have to worry about them getting snow dug out in some of the areas that got hit harder in New England and across the Ohio Valley with snow, but at least they're more used to it. So the cleanup should not take quite so long.
Heather, thanks so much. Appreciate your help.
You're very welcome.
That is AccuWeather senior meteorologist Heather Zare joining us this morning here on KMOX. We mentioned those travel disruptions. CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg is going to join me at the bottom of the hour to let you know what problems are still out there when it comes to getting around the country. It's now 8:20. Let's get an update on the roads here with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, I got some crashes out there, Megan, they're dealing with right now. This traffic reports the service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. One of them is that spin-out crash northbound 170 at Page. Left lane is shut down there. We had that crash in the median that's still out there, westbound 75th Street. But now right next to it, we've got a new crash in the left lanes, eastbound 70 on the Blanchette Bridge. So traffic both ways around 5th Street is pretty heavy. Obviously, westbound, not as bad as eastbound, which is actually jammed. They just cleared a crash on the ramp from northbound 55 onto northbound 270. And again, we're looking. I still don't see anything, but they were reporting a crash downtown, westbound 70 near Grand. Things still look okay headed through that area right now. Need a new garage door? Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Deadline to enter is the end of the month. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Roger. We are still under an extreme cold warning until noon today. Bitterly cold today, but a lot of sunshine. A high 16. For tonight, clear, breezy, cold, an overnight low of 9, but temperatures are going to start rising into the upper teens late. And then tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy, breezy, not quite as harsh, a high around 30. Right now, we have sunny skies, 0 downtown at the Arch. Up next, with flu still hitting families hard, we ask if there's anything you can eat to help build your immunity.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler for the FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX, my official sportsbook as well. And this is it, guys. It's the last call out for football on FanDuel. Big game is coming up here, and there's one final Sunday, one last kickoff, and the final chance to place your bets before the NFL season closes its tab on the year. And this is Super Bowl 60. FanDuel's making sure that you're in on it. If you're a customer, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. So whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same game parlay, you can make it count, because after the Super Bowl, the season's over and football is officially done. So it's your last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Must be 21 or older and present in Missouri to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
And chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
As you've heard here on KMOX, the flu numbers have been pretty rough over the last month. So let's see if there's some things that we can try to do, especially things that we can eat to boost our immune system. We bring back a regular guest, Michelle Wilson, registered dietitian with Brandt's Nutrition. So, Michelle, can we get better nutrients and will that help boost our immune system?
Absolutely. And I think something to take into consideration is the timing of that. I've seen a lot of people start to take a vitamin C supplement when they're feeling sick already. So it can be very helpful to manage your immune system and increase those that intake prior to being sick, build up that immunity before you're even exposed to the flu.
One of the things that I've often heard, you mentioned vitamin C, I've often heard that doubled up with zinc.
Yeah.
And that's like the magic, pill to try to stave off some of that stuff. Is there any factual basis for taking zinc?
Absolutely. So vitamin C and zinc and vitamin D have all been seen to be beneficial for boosting our immune system, and foods first, supplements second. So I really love recommending people to get their nutrients from their foods. There's a lot of other micronutrients that can help support each other with that, and then fiber and all of those other beautiful benefits too. If that's difficult for you to get in enough, a multivitamin can also be helpful. Whenever you take supplements of things individually, though, there are very, very high dosage of them. So you might not need to take a full zinc pill every single day with vitamin C in order to build your immune system. It might be more appropriate to try and increase those foods, take a multivitamin. Maybe every once in a while you can add additional supplementation, but that can be a pretty high amount.
What are some of the best fruits and vegetables to provide that vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc?
So vitamin C, that's going to be your citrons and your berries, as well as peppers. So sweet peppers, spicy peppers are also very high in vitamin C. Even if you don't really enjoy the taste of spicy foods, if you acclimate to that, then your body starts to recognize that super high vitamin C dosage and then starts to see that as more pleasurable. But those can be very high. And then as far as zinc, nuts, seeds, and meats are pretty high in zinc. And then vitamin D is going to be from fatty fish and eggs, and then fortified dairy products, and as well as absorbing it from the sun, so getting some sunshine.
What about fluids? Does fluid intake impact our immune system?
Absolutely. So staying hydrated is very, very beneficial for our immune system. Our vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin, so that helps with the absorption of that. But it also helps our mucosal system, so our mucous membranes, to stay hydrated. So, having snot and phlegm and all of those things that we don't like having, those things actually do help protect our immune system, or protect our system. And whenever we do get the flu, we definitely need to stay hydrated in order to help our body fight that.
All right. Well, Michelle, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
That is Michelle Wilson, registered dietitian with Brandt's Nutrition in St. Louis and O'Fallon, Illinois, joining us this morning here on KMOX. It's now 8:27, and this time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. It's an absolute pleasure always to talk about McKelvey Homes and Jim Brennan, my great friend, the president of McKelvey Homes. They've been going since 1898, 128 years of excellence, Missouri's oldest home builder and the best. They always find the best home sites, and they have done it again with the Reserve at Wildwood, a premier development located on 50 acres at the southwest corner of State Route 109 and 100 in the heart of Wildwood. This community will offer a stunning collection of homes from McKelvey, designer series, Liberty 3-car, Liberty 2-car, high-quality craftsmanship and style that McKelvey is known for. The Reserve at Wildwood, more than just a place to live, it is a place to thrive. All you need to do is go to McKelveyHomes.com, and you can reference all of the great homes and home sites that McKelvey Homes has to offer. Move up to McKelvey Homes, McKelveyHomes.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
When it comes to lighting, Gray Bar goes beyond parts and products. We help contractors turn plans into smart designs, manage kitting and deliverables, and navigate local codes so you can stay on time and on budget. Smart, scalable, job site ready. That's not just lighting. That's like kicking your project into Gray Bar mode. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
Let's get the latest on the roads for you with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Oh, Megan, it looks like they cleared some of these crashes, like the one we had northbound 170 at Page that was in the left lane. That looks like it's been cleared. They cleared that crash, it looks like, as well, from what I can tell. Eastbound 70 on the Blanchette Bridge. Traffic's just a little slow on the bridge, but we did have a backup approaching it, so that one's out of the way. They were reporting one South 270 near Dorset. I don't see any delays through there right now. See some backed up traffic on Lindbergh, just north of Missouri Bottom. They had a crash eastbound 64 Clayton Worson. It looks like that one's out of the way as well, although traffic is still a little busy there. Northbound 55 at the 186 mile marker. They've got a report of a vehicle fire, so be careful if you're headed that way. That's between Imperial and Richardson, I believe, on northbound 55 right now. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Coming up, we're going to let you know what the travel scene is like if you're trying to head out of St. Louis this week with all the winter weather we've had. CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg is going to join me. But now from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, we are dealing with extreme cold. Bitterly cold, a high 16 forecast today. Plenty of sunshine, though. Tonight, clear, breezy, cold, a low of 9. Temperatures will rise into the upper teens late. Right now, 0, sunny skies downtown at the Arch. Thousands of flights were canceled this weekend at the height of the winter storm. Let's get the latest now from CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg. Peter, thanks so much for joining me.
And good morning.
Give us a sense of the magnitude of the travel disruptions over this weekend.
Well, the disruptions become exponential as they roll through. Saturday was started bad. Yesterday was the worst of the days with thousands of flights canceled. Today it's much better. We're dealing with about 8,800 flights that are delayed, about 4,000 flights that are canceled, so about half of yesterday's. And they're quite specific. The airports that are being hit the most, Charlotte, 23% of their flights today are canceled. Boston's even worse, 60%. And of course, Pittsburgh at about 24%. But the good news is that we're dealing now with a real drop in cancellations at LaGuardia, Newark, and Kennedy starting later today. And what that means is they'll be back on track by about 6 p.m. tomorrow night. That would be Tuesday night.
That was going to be my next question. How long will it take to get things back to normal across the country?
Well, normally when you have a situation like this, for every 24 hours that you're down, it takes about 72 hours to get back up in speed. But what the airlines did, to their credit, was they did a lot of preemptive cancellations on Friday and Saturday to be able to keep their planes where they were and keep their crews where they were so that when things opened up again, they would be back in sequence and be back in schedule. So that 24 to 30 hour delay in terms of getting back on track is a whole lot better than 72 hours.
For travelers, what advice do you give them if things got canceled and they've got to rearrange plans?
Well, keep in mind that anytime an airline cancels your flight, you're entitled to an immediate and full refund. And what the airlines have been doing is been issuing waivers, giving you the opportunity to rebook your flight with no penalty or fee. That's the good news. The tougher news is if your flights were full on the days you wanted to rebook, you may be stuck for a couple more days, not because the airlines are not operating, but because they may already be full. So if you're going to rebook, look at like Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday of this week, but do it soon.
CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg. Peter, thanks so much.
You got it.
Your Money Report next here on KMOX.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Your Money Report now, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Airlines are trying to get their schedules back on track with this winter storm coating vast stretches of the country in ice and snow. Sunday marked the highest number of cancellations since the early days of COVID, according to aviation analytics firm Cirium. Airlines say they're aiming to get back up and running swiftly, but travel disruptions are expected. Check with your carrier before heading to the airport this morning. Checking in on trading, stocks are set to open cautiously at the start of a big week of events, including the Federal Reserve's rate decision on Wednesday and a number of key earnings reports, including Facebook parent Meta, Tesla, and Microsoft. Stock index futures are little changed this Monday. And shares of Intel plunged 17% in trading on Friday. The chipmaker gave a lackluster forecast and warned that it was struggling with manufacturing problems. The company's CEO says it will take time and resolve to turn around the company. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Attention, Missouri baby boomers. The Give 5 program wants to connect you with volunteer opportunities that fit your skills and passions. Learn how you can lend a helping hand and bring positive change to those who need it most in just 5 hours a month. Signing up is easy. Just attend our next free class in your local community. Visit our website at MissouriGive5.org to find a class near you. Brought to you by Missouri Area Agencies on Aging.
Hey guys, it's Dave. You know that saying, new year, new you? Well, how about new year, new home upgrade? Right now, when you buy 4 windows from Universal Windows Direct, you get 4 free. That's one of the biggest offers they've ever done. And with 0% interest financing for 60 months, you can spread out your payments over 5 years, same as cash without a penny of interest. But there's more. You'll get $1,000 off your entire project, plus a little something to look forward to, a vacation voucher through Destination Motivation with every purchase. Call 314-334-2522 or visit universalwindowsdirect.com.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
Save more on the brands pros trust at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 35% off select major appliances and choose from our wide lineup of top brands. Plus, save $100 on a Little Giant 22-foot multi-position ladder. Now just $189. Built for strength, flexibility, and job site versatility. Pros, these savings will only be here for a limited time. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 1/30 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Hey, St. Louis City SC fans, mark your calendars now. The Boys in Red return to Energizer Park to kick off Season 4 Saturday, February 21st. And you could be there for the dawn of a new golden era of St. Louis soccer. Go to stlcitysc.com/tickets and reserve your seat now for the MLS home opener versus Charlotte FC. Limited quantities remain. See you soon, St. Louis.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. How much snow did our region get this weekend? Well, St. Genevieve, Missouri measured 13.6 inches. Chester, Illinois, 11.3. The official storm total at Lambert Airport, 8.2 inches. Amid growing financial and geopolitical uncertainty, the price of gold has risen above $5,000 an ounce for the first time ever. A federal judge set to hear arguments today on whether to pause an immigration crackdown in Minnesota following the fatal shootings of 2 people by government officers. Let's get you the latest on the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, folks need to be careful, Megan, if you're coming northbound on 55 because of that earlier car fire I talked about. This traffic report's the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. It's just north of Imperial. They got the fire out. It was billowing black smoke earlier, but now they're requesting MoDOT because, they had to use water to put out that fire. So now they're saying the road is icing over pretty quickly there. The right lanes are closed. It's right just past the end of the on-ramp from Imperial, so folks are sort of jumping on the highway quickly, so please pay attention if you're on the highway and as you're merging on, because it is icy there. We don't want to have any more difficulties. Looks like we have I guess it's a stalled tractor trailer off to the right side, southbound 55 between Butler Hill and Merrimack Bottom. Doesn't seem to be bothering anybody right now, and we still have those signal problems at 141 and Olive. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
We're still under an extreme cold warning until noon today. It's going to be bitterly cold. We'll have some sunshine, but a high only around 16. And right now, we do have sunny skies, but 0 degrees downtown at the Arch. You are listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. The Pentagon has released a new national defense strategy. Many analysts are saying it's a dramatic shift from previous administrations. Let's get some perspective from CBS News military analyst, retired Army Colonel Jeff McCausland. Jeff, good morning.
Megan, good morning to you.
How much of a departure is this from previous defense blueprints?
I think it's a significant departure without question. I mean, it prioritizes defending the homeland as the top priority. And of course, under that talks about such things as the Golden Dome. It talks about key access to terrain, Panama Canal, Greenland. It talks about the counter-narcotics effort. Then it talks about our allies, but only in terms largely of increasing burden sharing on them to get them to take up more of the slack, particularly the Europeans for conventional defense, but also for the Europeans. It does talk about deterring China, but it does not talk about dominating the Indo-Pacific, but actually cooperating with the Chinese, and never mentions Taiwan anywhere in the document. And then last but not least, it emphasized, as the verb is used, supercharging the U.S. defense industrial base as a high priority. So those are the priorities, which is a significant shift away from the United States being more engaged globally, working directly with its allies, and a lot more emphasis on deterring aggression abroad through cooperation with our allies.
What do you think has led to that downgraded assessment of the threat that China might pose to the United States? What's changed?
Well, I think there's a hope that, of course, that there can be an accommodation through trade. Right now, we're in a sort of a ceasefire, if you will, between the United States and China after there was a possibility of a real significant trade disruption. And I think this is also paving the way for the President of the United States to go to China in April. So I think this is sort of setting that up. But if you're Taiwanese right now, I'd be gravely concerned because, again, nowhere in this document is to talk about maintaining the independence of Taiwan or even suggesting a two-China policy. It talks about the first island chain and that we want to see that not dominated by the Chinese, but unclear if that does in fact include Taiwan.
Are the Panama Canal and Greenland as key to American security as this strategy would suggest?
They are very important. There's no doubt about it. The Panama Canal is key for trade in a lot of different issues, and we have close cooperative terms, I think, with the Panamanians in that regard, number one. In terms of Greenland, there's no question that the Arctic is becoming more and more important. But the question then becomes, is it better for the United States to try to secure that area as it increases its importance through outright taking it over and estranging our allies, or cooperating with our allies and actually making it a cooperative effort to defend the Arctic? We've had agreements bilaterally with the Danes since 1951 to do pretty much whatever we want to. At one time during the Cold War, we had over 10,000 troops and 18 bases in Greenland. And furthermore, Greenland being Danish territory, if it was actually directly threatened by Russia or China, that would incur all of the allies to come to the Danes and Greenland's aid along with the United States.
Talk about the Golden Dome quickly. You mentioned that. For people who may not have been paying close attention to what this proposal is, how does Greenland, for example, tie into that?
Well, Greenland ties into it because much of the threat to the United States, even back during the Cold War, would have come across the Arctic in two ways. One, intercontinental ballistic missiles being launched from the Soviet Union, or now Russia, would largely transit over the polar ice cap due to ranges and distances. Second of all, the Arctic region is most important, particularly for the Russians, because that's where they pass through all their nuclear-powered submarines that could be in the Atlantic Ocean and launching ballistic missiles against the United States homeland. That makes that terrain important, and now even more important that we're able to access it due to climate change. So if you're going to implement Golden Dome, which is this massive effort to defend the United States from any type of missile threat, ballistic missile, cruise missile, et cetera, then using Greenland as a site at least for radars to intercept those particular objects coming towards the United States, or actually putting missile defenses physically on the ground in Greenland to engage those particular weapons if they are heading for the United States, becomes more important.
Under this new national defense strategy, how could it impact the U.S. relationship with European powers that we have been closely allied with for years?
Yeah, it's a real effort. It basically says that, in fact, the words are always a quote, that they've been free riding on the United States for years. They have been, if they will, holding up their end of the bargain in terms of spending money on defense. And that's quite true. Many of them weren't even reaching 2% of GDP. That being said, having served in Europe an awful lot, the Europeans, I don't think, get the credit for allowing us to use bases. We have significant bases in Europe that allow us to project U.S. power, sustain U.S. power abroad, and also, of course, the political burden of having a lot of Americans driving tanks up and down their streets. So that's been the argument in this new strategy, is that they need to pick up a lot more of the defense, and the United States needs to recalibrate. It basically suggests to me that we're looking for the Europeans to take over the conventional defense of Europe, and obviously then the United States would fall back on the nuclear guarantee, which we have obviously the largest nuclear arsenal to do that.
Finally, from a practical matter, how would this national defense strategy impact operations for our military day to day?
I think for a couple of ways. I think we'll see fewer U.S. bases. I think we'll see a lot more forces coming back to the United States. That'll mean we're going to, frankly, if we're going to maintain the force structure we have, expand our bases. One reason we haven't moved forces back from overseas, and I was involved in that years ago in the Pentagon, simply haven't got the bases here to house them, number one. Number two, the mission of the U.S. military changes, I think, significantly because of the emphasis on things like the counter-narcotics mission, defense of the border, things like that. The U.S. military is going to be involved, I think, more and more in those things than the traditional missions we had of projecting military power in the past that I was involved in. And, of course, the military will be directly involved in expansion of efforts such as Golden Dome, threats from cyber, et cetera.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time this morning.
My pleasure.
That is CBS News military analyst, retired Army Colonel Jeff McCausland, joining us this morning here on KMOX. Well, coming up, this weekend's auto show here in St. Louis may have you dreaming of a new ride. Kelley Blue Book brings you a list of some of the best values on the road, coming up next.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Tom Ackerman here. Got to tell you, the best car dealership I've ever walked into is Genesis of St. Charles. They're located at 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway. That is right off I-70 at Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. You are going to love the offerings at Genesis of St. Charles. Visit them online, genesisofstcharles.com. You're going to find the E-price. When you unlock the E-price, that upfront pricing, you're going to be very happy. No games, no gimmicks. They want your trade as well. They were willing to pay more for it on any new Genesis purchase. Don't wait. Now is the time to visit Genesis of St. Charles, your premier Genesis dealer, the number one Genesis dealer in the state of Missouri. You can buy online at genesisofstcharles.com, and you're going to be very happy when you walk into the dealership. It is spectacular. Genesis of St. Charles, genesisofstcharles.com.
It's 2026 and it's time to get your home zero resified by calling our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 plus a free hallway, and take 15% off regularly priced services when you mention the KMWX special. ZeroResSTL.com.
Big game, big screen, big energy at Ballpark Village, Sunday, February 8th. Enjoy the big game like you're in the end zone, featuring in-arena touchdown celebrations, fan cams, contest VIP packages, and more, hosted by RDJ and DJ Dex. Save up to $10 on tickets with code KMOX. Tickets and event details at stlballparkvillage.com/events. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Thanks for listening to Total Information AM here on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. The St. Louis Auto Show just wrapped up this weekend. May have you revved up to buy a new car. Kelley Blue Book has done some legwork for you about the current market. Brian Moody is executive editor.
There's lots of ins and outs when it comes to new and used car buying, and some people haven't bought a car for a long time, so they may be behind on what's new.
What's the market look like for 2026?
For 2026, we expect prices to remain relatively elevated, especially for new cars. However, that should be somewhat stable, meaning not a lot of fluctuation up and down. That also doesn't mean that there are no deals. There are good cars for a low price, but there's also some that are quite expensive.
I know, Brian, several years ago, we had to break down and buy a new vehicle. And one of the things that we were really frustrated with was the packages that were available all seemed pretty high end. We couldn't find something closer to a base model. Is that still a challenge for consumers?
Yes, that's a really good point. In fact, that's something that dealerships do because they are trying to cater to the broadest possible audience they can. Something to understand about your local dealer is that it's a small business run like a small business. The cars that they have on their lot, that dealership purchased those. So that the cars don't belong to Buick or Honda or Ford. It belongs to that dealer. They bought them. And they don't want a car sitting around for a long time, costing them money in space and interest. So yes, you're right. That is a common problem. What you can do is use the internet and email or call and go to all kinds of different places and say, hey, listen, what I really want is the LX model. I don't want the top of the line one. And see if that gets you any place, because sometimes you can order them, but at the same time, you often get a better deal by buying a car that's already in stock. So see how that's kind of like a catch-22?
Exactly. I'm wondering what else consumers should keep in mind or ask for when they're shopping for a new vehicle this year.
You want to ask about the total cost of owning the car, not just the price. If you're financing, you want to make sure that you know the interest rate. And before that, you should know your credit score, because your credit score directly impacts the interest rate you will spend. When you see advertised specials on TV, radio, or internet, that's not for everybody. That's people with excellent credit. You also want to ask, how much are the maintenance program? Is that included? And if it's not, you want to know how much that's going to cost you in totality. I would even say do a little bit of research on the depreciation. You're going to keep it for 15 years. That doesn't really matter. You just keep it and drive it. But if you plan to get rid of it in 5 or 6 years, you might want to do some research about reliability and expected resale value down the road.
Now, Brian, I know we've got some listeners, they love the latest and greatest and they don't mind paying for it. So what are some of the trends that you're seeing in new cars this year?
Well, there's a couple of trends. One is toward self-driving features or what we would call automated driving features. General Motors vehicles such as Chevrolet, Cadillac, GMC have something called Super Cruise, and that basically can drive the car itself with your hands and feet off the steering wheel, off the pedals as well. It can even change lanes automatically. That's a feature that anybody who hasn't bought a car in a while would be surprised to see. But also, we're seeing a trend technology-wise toward anti-technology, smaller screens, more hard buttons for easy-to-perform features. People have told us that they don't want to go into a menu/submenu/sound/something else just to adjust the bass on the radio. They want that to be quick and easy.
Kelley Blue Book has put together their annual Best Buy Awards. Can you give us some highlights of that?
Yeah, there's several vehicles on this list. For example, I'll just give you a couple. One of them is the best overall new car is the Nissan Leaf, which happens to be an inexpensive electric car. Also, the best small pickup is the Ford Maverick, which also is available as a hybrid. There's other vehicles that come as hybrids too. For example, best minivan, Toyota Sienna, best sedan, Toyota Camry. Those two cars I just mentioned, both of those Toyotas, the only way they come is as a hybrid. So I think 2026 is going to be the year of the hybrid. Whether or not a consumer is seeking that out or not, they might end up with a hybrid. And to be honest, the way they work today, the average person may not even notice.
What are the things that you look at when you decide which cars are in this Best Buy Awards?
Well, the number one thing has to do with value. How much car do you get for the money? What features are included as standard features? And like you said before, it's no fair showing a car or advertising a car that has all the bells and whistles, and then when you go to get the one that's in your budget, it's got nothing. So we look at that. We want, good value. Also, ease of driving comfort, good acceleration, nice quiet ride, and also useful utility features like fold up and down third row seats for SUVs or cargo nets for sedans.
So where can our listeners go to get more information?
For more information on car pricing and advice on buying and selling cars, you can go to Kelley Blue Book's website, which is kbb.com.
Brian, thanks so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
That is Brian Moody, executive editor of Kelley Blue Book, joining us this morning here on KMOX.
We did it. We survived Snowmageddon, and we want to hear from you. How was your weekend? How were the roads? Plus, Andrew Egger, White House correspondent for The Bulwark, and Dr. F. Perry Wilson of Yale. What does the data say about dry January? It all starts at 9 a.m. on The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
Move over AI. Use Travel Roulette to plan your next vacation. Your family tosses destinations into a hat, you pick one and go.
You can do it for the destination, and then you could do it for the sites in that destination.
Travel vlogger Mark Walters says it can be a fun way to plan a trip, but you need to know everyone's comfort level first.
Kind of understand everybody's level of